Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie news-related show on planet Earth, the John Campea Show, on John Campea's YouTube channel. But sans John Campea once again. John is still under the weather, you guys. So I was going to say B team, but the A team is kicking it because we're awesome.
The Batman Beyond
team. I really like that for us. We are here today to still talk to you about movies, TV, streaming, all sorts of good stuff. And we are so happy to have you here with us. So thanks for being here, you guys. Joining me, of course, is Mr. Robert Meyer Burnett. Robert, how you doing?
Chris, you know, I feel like John's just, it's like an experiment. He's sitting there right now watching us, looking at everything we do. We're being judged.
Oh, man. Well, we're always being judged. It's the internet.
That's true, too.
Everyone's so kind and merciful when you share your opinion.
Especially about Star Wars.
Oh, my goodness. They're so kind about that.
I'm an old man shouting at the clouds.
That's okay. I don't know about anything. I just got this little girl brain. Oh, man. We love talking about these things with you guys. Joining us, too, somebody who has seen some really great sci-fi, we hope really great sci-fi recently, Mr. Ray Ora. Ray, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I have two things that I wanted to say off the top right here. I don't know if you guys follow video games, but there's this game that just came out, I believe, today. A new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game called Shredder's Revenge.
Sweet.
So I'm going to post a little Craigslist ad sort of thing right now. Anybody who's on Xbox that was planning to buy this game already, like you wanted it, I am going to get it today. I want to beat this game by the end of the weekend. So if you're a casual gamer, you don't get mad and throw controllers, because me, I'm not that good, but I'll still play. Add me on Xbox, Ray Ora with a 0, and we'll run through this game. They say it takes like 2 to 3 hours to beat this campaign. With me, it'll probably be more like 3 to 4 hours, 4 to 5 hours. But, you know, let's just have some fun, get some aviation gin. 6 players online. It's a beat 'em up game, 16 levels. So if you're planning on getting the game, come on, let's just add me and we could beat this thing.
Wait.
That sounds awesome.
So tens of thousands of people watch this show every day, and you've just extended an invitation for only 6 people to play with you?
Well, there's only 6 players at the one time you could play. So whoever's on at the time that I go on tomorrow night, let's try to beat this thing by the end of the weekend.
I love that.
It'll be the first time I've ever beaten a game, an online game, multiplayer game. So
That'd be so fun.
and it's the first time I'm going to buy a full digital game, Rob. I'm telling you, I try to get the physical copy, but there's only one website that sells it.
He couldn't do it.
There's no one website that sells it. And of course, I'm not going to get it by tomorrow. Amazon doesn't even sell it. It's one of those things where it's made to order. And I try to get it, but I'm going to have to go digital on this one.
Well, Ray, I just unboxed my Xbox X and put it in the new Robservatory. And I've yet to power it up.
This game is only $22 digital.
Maybe I can
That's a good
join your
deal.
quest.
Nice.
Yeah, yes. Let's play this game.
You guys
And
totally
also,
should.
number 2, I went to a screening of Lightyear yesterday.
Yes, you did. How was
And
it?
like, okay, if I'm meeting a movie for the first time and we just meet each other, and
Do you kiss
very
on the first
thing
date?
it says to me is, I'm fun, I'm entertaining, but I'm not that over 2 hour type of fun. I'm going to my Facebook. I'm changing my relationship status to in a relationship, because this movie was only an hour and 40 minutes. It was already 10 out of 10. But it was, I love the movie, man. There's nothing that bothered me about it. There's some space stuff, even though it's animated, that's terrifying and like leaves you in awe with some of the shots in it. I really liked it. So I'm giving my recommendation. Take it with a grain of salt. You guys know I rarely hate anything. So, but yeah, I had a good time with it. It might be my 3rd favorite movie of the year.
Dang.
Below Top Gun Maverick and Black Phone.
Whoa.
So that's above Doctor Strange and all that. So yeah, I thought it was really good. It was a good amount of time. There's a lot of, it's a very reactionary movie where you would hear it when you're watching, like all the parts that they wanted to get a reaction out of you. You would hear it in the theater, like, oh, no, like this and that. So I had a good time. We saw it in Dolby. It was
Ooh,
pretty good.
there you go.
Yep.
Nice.
So that's it, man. And then Jonathan's here.
Yeah, Jonathan, of course, is your producer, Jonathan, making sure that we stay on track and get everything done well today. How you doing, Jonathan?
Doing all right. Just enjoying my my coffee here.
Good.
Yes. Ready for the show.
Damn fine
Sweet.
cup of coffee.
It is. It
Yes.
is. It's a Twin Peaks-esque coffee. Damn
Pine
fine
coffee.
coffee.
Without Laura Palmer.
True. Well, guys, we've got a lot to get into today. Once again, we are going to do the show a little bit different than we usually do, all right? Because we don't have John here, and once again, he will not give me the password to his Gmail. Rude. I want to see what's in that inbox, because that way I could hear from you
I want
guys.
to see his browser history.
I know. Oh, man, we'd have a lot to report to Anne. But alas, he won't give us that information. So instead, we are treating the show as a bunch of off the tops. So it's off the tops with us today. So with all that in mind,
Well, wait a minute. We might get demonetized if you do that.
well, it's not. No one's tops are off. It's
Okay.
just off the tops.
Well, just checking.
Very different kind of show. That's for Campea After Dark, and John can do whatever he wants then.
Mm.
That's his business.
I want him to dance.
Chase Scott
Yeah.
just gifted 5 memberships. Just want to say thank you, Chase.
Thank you so
Before
much,
we
Chase.
start the show. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. And as always, guys, too, if you want to listen to this show, if watching YouTube maybe gets you in trouble at work, you're on a jog, you're out and about, and you just need to hear this, you can absolutely do that in podcast form. Wherever you get your podcast, go look up the John Campea Show podcast. Maybe give us a review. Maybe say how much you like the Batman Beyond team. That would certainly help us out with the boss. And of course, you can also listen to our mailbag, that compilation series that we do that answers your burning questions. So give those a listen and give them a review. All right. With all that housekeeping out of the way, let's dive into some things, shall we? And our first thing we want to talk to you about is a story that broke yesterday that we briefly got to touch on, but we wanted to talk about it a lot more in depth with you guys.
I think you did.
I did, I know, but I'm in charge, so I get to say we. I get to use the royal we. I'm in the big chair. The Avatar, The Last Airbender universe is expanding. We have 3 films in development with Paramount and Nickelodeon, and this is very exciting. We've got this coming from Variety. So this is not to be confused, obviously, with James Cameron's Avatar.
Yes.
Very, very different.
Which also has 3 films or whatever.
It has movies for the rest of James Cameron's life coming out. But this, we are going to have the popular animated show have more spin-offs. Paramount, who made the announcement at Annecy International Animation Film Festival, a festival that you had some friends participating in,
Yes.
right, Rob? They didn't share plot details about the forthcoming trilogy, but we do know that Lauren Montgomery, who worked on Avatar: The Last Airbender, is directing the still untitled film, the first of 3 standalone stories that are in the works, which is very, very exciting. We have our original creators on board too, Brian and Michael, which is going to be really fantastic. And I'm wondering, too, if maybe this has to do a little bit, this is pure speculation, you guys, with them exiting the Netflix live action version of this. Because here we've got all that creative control. We're in the medium where this story originated and thrived. So maybe there was a little wheeling and dealing on that. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there.
I think that's probably a good bet.
Yeah. I mean, you've been on every aspect of a film production, Rob. So for you, is this a very sweet deal for you? Is this something that you would gravitate towards or see these creatives wanting to kind of work on?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge fan of obviously retaining the original creatives on whatever their IP is.
Mm-hmm.
And I find it really interesting that you have creatives who created something when they're translating it to another medium that they leave over creative differences.
Yeah,
Now, I can understand that. Obviously, live action is very different from animation.
absolutely.
But good storytelling is the same. And especially if you're trying to retain, like I would look at how many of the original creators for Cowboy Bebop were involved in the live action.
Ooh.
I mean, music was the same.
Exactly.
And I think that show's gotten a bad rap, to be honest.
Same. I enjoyed it.
I think that not everything was perfect, but I kind of enjoyed Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
You know, but I think that's part of the appeal here. It's not just one show; it's 3 shows, and it's pretty cool that they're throwing their weight behind it. I mean, if you're going to go behind a franchise, an animated franchise, there are very few that are as good as this.
Oh, I totally agree.
I mean, I think that's not to say there's not a lot of great animated films, but The Last Airbender is certainly beloved. It's very successful. It was beautifully done, and why not?
Well, and it's a series, too, that got John on the animation train because he was very recalcitrant to watch this show. He was very, very against it.
Another word you use live
love
that
this
I
word.
recalcitrant.
I love it.
What I don't think that's a word I've ever heard someone say aloud. You read it in a
Really?
book. What
Oh,
a
man.
great use of words.
Logan and I say it a lot in our home. But it was one of those things, being really recalcitrant to do this. It's one of those things that even got Campea on board because it's beautiful, beautiful storytelling, like you were saying.
It really is.
And there is a lot to work with here, too, because, of course, Aang here is just one of the many avatars that we have throughout the history of this world. We had Legend of Korra, which is the avatar who assumes the mantle after his death. We have other stories, too, out there. We've got comic books that dive into Zuko's family here, Fire Lord Zuko, and the mystery with his mother and all of this. That'd be really great to finally have that animated out. We have Kyoshi, which there's a novel, The Rise of Kyoshi, that goes into her backstory as the earthbending avatar. I obviously really am excited about
I'm
this.
like, you sound like me talking about Star Trek.
This is my Star
fantastic.
Trek. I love it so much. Back in the day when I was on Nerdwire, this was my show. I covered this and Steven Universe and BoJack Horseman, and those were my things.
Wow, okay.
Very eclectic. But I love, love, love Avatar so much. Ray, is this a show that you ever watched?
No.
No? You weren't into
Unfortunately,
this
I
one?
only watched I guess you could call it the live action movie,
Oh, the M. Night
Oh, you
Shyamalan
could call it that.
Yeah.
which I probably liked. I don't remember, but
Well,
I don't know.
I do think, too, that film definitely gave the creators pause when dealing with this new version.
I will say they are really gearing up for this series because I'm seeing a lot more action figures of this property, like in GameStop, at Walmart. Even Walmart is starting to carry at least the main character. I see it on the shelf. So maybe they're gearing up to give this property a push, which they are, obviously, with 3 new films.
That's a big vote of confidence.
That is. And as we all know, too, merch is a really important factor when it comes to these kinds of properties, too, right? Studios want to be able to sell and make money. So if you're getting those sweet, sweet action figures, I would want so many Toph Beifong action figures. If
by
they
the
did
way,
a hat toy of that, oh my gosh.
Speaking of that, unrelated, yesterday Hot Toys announced that they're making a Buzz Lightyear hot toy from Lightyear.
Oh, rad.
I'm very
Is that gonna-
excited.
Could that be your next hot toy bet, Ray?
Come on, Ray.
I can't bet a man that's feeling under the weather right now. But I'll think of something. I'm gonna bet him any chance he takes it. I don't care how ridiculous my odds are. I'm gonna do it every single time. I'm gonna get that hot toy, whatever it is, whatever's out by the time I win.
Well, if you order Buzz
I will
Lightyear
win.
now, it'll come out by 2024.
But you know what? I always get a smile when Nickelodeon is involved with anything, just because to know that they're still around. They may have had some like bad news about things that happened with them of recently with like certain animators and things like that. But Nickelodeon as a whole, as a property, I always smile when I hear that name. So let's
But
hope.
if it's between a Lightyear or a Scarlet Witch, which one are you doing?
Oh, Hot Toy?
Yeah. Because Scarlet Witch was the one you wanted, right?
Yeah, but then it doesn't come with enough stuff.
Okay.
So
I don't
I'm
know
waiting for that Wonder Woman or that new Batman.
The WandaVision Vision just dropped. Hot Toys just dropped that in Hong Kong. So Scarlet Witch
Get
will
all
soon
set.
follow.
That's all yours. You could take the Scarlet Witch. I think I moved on from that one.
How can you move on from a redhead
Well,
sorceress?
when Mighty Jane
I mean,
Thor
it
might
happens.
come out soon, that one's
That's
a
the one I would
2024
want. I would
figure.
want that
Oh,
one.
is it?
Yeah.
All right.
But moreover, I would want every single Avatar figure because I love the series so, so much. Guys, check out the comics. Check out the companion novels. There's so much good stuff here. And then let me know of those materials. Is there anything there that you want to see in these new animated films? Are there other avatars that you want to meet? Hit us up in the comments below and let us know your thoughts on this expanding universe. All right. With that down and out of the way, let's move on to our next topic about a very hotly anticipated film, a little controversial too. We had our first teaser for the feature film, the NC-17 film, Blonde. A little bit of real life, a little bit of fiction based on a novel, a story about Marilyn Monroe. Now, this teaser, I should say, it is a teaser.
Yes.
Ana de Armas looks incredible and sounds incredible.
I mean, no hint of her accent.
No, the
And
dialect
I
which she
mean,
does here is
even though
phenomenal.
I have to tell you though, I do feel that this is like it's based on the book by not Margaret Atwood. It's someone else who wrote the books. Joyce Carol.
There you go,
Oates.
yeah.
Joyce Carol Oates wrote the book. She's a phenomenal author. This looks like a horror film to me. The end of this trailer was frightening.
Exactly.
She's going to come soon. I mean, I've always looked at Marilyn Monroe's. Obviously, I love her. I mean, I think the first time, 7 Year Itch, or she was in All About Eve, which is one of my favorite films of all time. 1950 Best Picture winner. If you haven't seen All About Eve, it's one of the greatest movies ever made with one of the best femme fatales or just villains, female villains. Anne Baxter as Eve Harrington. Chef's kiss. But Marilyn Monroe's in that movie. But this film looks, I really, really want to see this, but it looks scary.
It does.
And I'm sure it's going to be depressing and it's going to piss me off.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, the story, the rise and fall of Marilyn Monroe, of Norma Jean, is one of the most tragic American warped fairy tales at the end of the day, right? Because we have this young girl next door who gets taken in by Hollywood and is taken advantage of by the powers that be in that industry, right? And so in this teaser, we see her kind of trying to channel that version of herself, find that version of Marilyn. And we see her go from this desperation to putting on that mask, giving us the smile and the hair toss with the giggle. And it looks like, just from this, it's going to be this really intense, character-driven story that's going to be very, very heartbreaking.
And of course, the controversy, it's an NC-17 film. I would imagine not in the way we would like it to be.
Right? I don't think you have a story like this about a woman who was taken advantage of and brutalized.
Yeah.
I don't think that the N-17 here is for the faint of heart or for somebody who's wanting a more palatable NC-17 experience.
Yeah, I don't think this brings the filthy.
Yeah.
This is going to be a little bit more traumatizing, I think. In because I can't do any of the scenes in movies where there's like just the beating of anybody. It's just hard for me. It like sticks in my head. So I have a feeling there's going to be things like that are going to happen.
Well, I know this is something that, I mean, months ago when we first reported on this, Aaron and I talked about this and that level of discomfort of, is this going to be something that further exploits her to an extent? And how do we as an audience feel about that? Is it important to show that kind of brutalization that someone went through so that people understand the experience more, show it as that cautionary tale? Is it better to leave some of that to the imagination and let people fill in the blanks because the human mind is much more warped often? I guess my big question here is, what is the responsibility of a filmmaker to tell a story truthfully?
I think that's a great question. One of my favorite, I've always thought of as a horror movie, is Roman Polanski's Repulsion, which came out in the 60s. It stars Catherine Deneuve. And basically, Catherine Deneuve, one of the most beautiful women in the world, she plays a woman who men, wherever she goes, men follow her. They don't leave her alone because she's so beautiful. And in a man's mind, the vision of her represents what they want, even though her humanity has nothing to do with it. It's just because she is beautiful. And the fact that she can never go anywhere without the unwanted attention of men drives her insane. Yeah. And I like that storyline because it is horrifying. I mean, it wasn't her fault that she looks the way she looks. And Marilyn Monroe became the object of desire for the world. But no one really cared about her as a person. They wanted that big screen image. They wanted that fantasy that isn't real. And there's a person behind every fantasy, and this movie looks to deal with that in a very frank way, which I think, for me, as a story, not just about Hollywood, but as about the pathology of human beings, could be really fascinating if done well.
Absolutely. I completely agree. And I cannot state enough how great Ana de Armas seems like she is. And I know it's just a teaser, you guys. I know I have to see more of this footage. But what we saw, I mean, she really, really does this beautiful turn that I think is very, very promising for the rest of this film is going to go. And I love what you said about all this, Rob. But the question is, guys, what do you think of this teaser? How do you feel about Ana de Armas stepping into the role of Marilyn? How do you feel about the story and this rating? Is it a film you're excited to see? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Now, I was just talking about how Anna shows us this masterful turn. And if you want to learn masterful things about acting, we think that you should check out our friends over at Masterclass.
Guys, we want to take just a minute and thank the sponsor of this video, Masterclass. Masterclass is offering classes on a wide variety of topics, like all taught by world-class masters at the absolute tops of their field. Each class is broken down out into individual video lessons, usually like around 10 minutes or so long, and members can explore at their own pace. And each class is supported by downloadable materials, lessons, recipes, or more that you can all find at masterclass.com. For example, are you into streaming? Well, you can take the Building Your Streaming class taught by ninjas so you can sharpen up on your streaming skills. Or if you're interested in independent filmmaking, take independent filmmaking from Academy Award winner Spike Lee. You want to get classes on how to direct? How about from Ron Howard? The very first one I personally looked up and got into was Business Leadership by the great Big Papa Iger, Bob Iger himself. And I was absolutely enthralled with it. I love every single minute of this stuff. If any of those apply to you, you need to try Masterclass. So I highly recommend that you check it out. Get unlimited access to every Masterclass. And as a John Campea Show viewer, you get 15% off an annual membership. Go to masterclass.com/Campea. Once again, to get 15% off your annual membership, go to masterclass.com/Campea.
And thank you to our friends over at Masterclass. Remember, guys, anytime you use any of these Campea codes, you are not only getting yourself a wonderful, wonderful deal, but you're helping out all of us here, keeping us with the lights on. So we appreciate that. All right, let's move right along to our next topic. We finally have some more images of a movie I'm really excited about. I don't know about you guys, of Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. Oh, look at these. I love this. First of all, this beautiful, beautiful kind of stop motion animation is my jam. I love this kind of stuff. The detail here, the very, very different kind of Pinocchio, because I think we all have that Disney-fied version of this in our mind, even though we rarely saw him in the Disney trailer for the new live action. That's still kind of the zeitgeist version of Pinocchio, I feel, right?
Well, when you say the word Pinocchio, I think one image jumps into everyone's head, and it's that image of the Disney version.
Just immediately with, I got no strings, just...
And that was their second, that was Disney's second feature film, I believe, was Pinocchio after Snow White.
Oh, wow.
I think.
Oh, my goodness. Well, and I think people forget how twisted the Pinocchio story is, too.
Oh, very much so.
And so to have someone like Guillermo del Toro doing this story is fascinating for me. One, because, I mean, his creature work is just, no one can touch it, right? Everything you see from Hellboy to, you know, all of his work in the Shape of Water. Oh my gosh. To Pan's Labyrinth.
Well, Pan's Labyrinth, you know, Mr. Hands.
Oh yeah, with that. Oof. So to have them do this very, very dark, wacky fairy tale, I am so excited about. Let's take a look at some of these images here too. First, we got Geppetto and Pinocchio.
I mean, I love this so much.
Doing a little nose boop. Love a boop. It's so great. We've got Pinocchio over here being built with some other kind of creepy other puppets in the background. We got like a little...
The way it should be.
Yeah. I've rarely seen a puppet where I'm like, that's charming and doesn't scare me at all. Usually they're a little off-putting. I love this. I think this is really, really great. I think these are so beautiful. I'm really, really hyped about this film. How about you, Rob? How are you feeling?
Look, I'm a huge fan of Guillermo del Toro's. All the way back to the first feature I ever saw. I think his first feature. Have you ever seen Kronos?
No. His
Mexican... It's a very interesting take. He made it in Mexico on vampire mythology.
Ooh.
About a kindly old man and his granddaughter, little girl. You should see it. If you haven't seen Kronos, y'all, watch Kronos, because I mean it's the tone that Guillermo del Toro the tone he brought to Blade 2, which is very different than Blade 1, and of course Devil's Backbone, Pan's Labyrinth. What a master filmmaker he is. But when he's working in this realm, the realm of creatures, nobody does it better.
I agree. This is where it sings. Also, this character here, this is going to be, the one we just saw was Count Volpe, and that's voiced by Christoph Waltz. Geppetto is voiced by David Bradley. What was that next image, Jonathan? Oh, nice close-up of Pinocchio, and that is voiced by Gregory Mann. Look at Jiminy Cricket there, too. That's Ewan McGregor. So we've got a great cast here. I love this so much.
With the Frankenstein staples on his head.
I think fairy tales truly should be steeped in a kind of gothic viewpoint, a very romantic gothic lens.
You'll get no argument from me.
And I think that's really what Guillermo del Toro brings to so much of his work, too. And he thrives in animation as well. I'm a big, big fan of his work on the Troll Hunters universe that's on Netflix. I think it's wonderful storytelling that, again, where animation just shines because it allows you to do so much weird, funky stuff.
Well, gothic romanticism is exactly like you put it. I mean, that's what he... Even movies of his that I didn't love, like Crimson Peak, it's gorgeous to look at.
Oh, absolutely.
And you still get that gothic, romantic ghost story feel. That I love the fact that Guillermo del Toro movies always seem to come from a universe that was only created by Guillermo del Toro.
Yes.
Nothing he ever does feels like anyone else's movies.
Exactly. You can always tell when you're playing in that sandbox, which is so wonderful. Yeah,
and
right?
let's hope that I'm just reading that this is on Netflix. Let's hope it actually is good and Netflix gets a win because they're gonna lose with that Squid Game reality TV series.
Not if they really kill people. A lot of people will tune in.
I'm just saying, yeah. Let's just hope it's a good one so we could get on a roll with Netflix originals or whatever they call it now. I mean, I know John. He always trashes all the Netflix movies that come on because they are not that great, right? So
Yeah,
let's
I
hope
will
this one's
say
pretty
though, I think for me, Netflix has really delivered on animated properties.
Oh, really?
I think they've done a really great job, like his Troll Hunters series. I think
yeah,
all of
I
that
heard
has
that was
been
good.
really, really well done. And he obviously has a really good working relationship with this streaming service, and that's why he's continuing to do not only multiple series of shows but now films. This comes out in December, and of course is competing with that Robert Zemeckis Pinocchio,
Which
the live
is
action.
so weird.
So
which-
they are lined up to really go
Yeah.
head to head.
Which, for you guys, if you had to pick a Pinocchio to see, which is the one that you're gravitating more towards, the Disney one or the Guillermo del Toro one?
Is Disney one in theaters or is that Disney Plus?
I think it's Disney Plus,
I believe it's
right?
Disney Plus.
Yeah.
You know, it's all
So
free
the answer
to
is
me,
both
baby.
because it's streaming.
Yeah.
It's all free on Campea Plus, baby.
It is
Hi.
This is more interesting. I mean, I definitely wanted to see the live action on live action on Disney Plus, but this looks far more interesting.
I agree. I think this looks more
Yeah.
fun.
I just can't believe these are both on streaming. Like, why did Disney make a live action Pinocchio that's going to be not in theaters?
With Tom Hanks, directed by Robert Zemeckis.
I mean, I felt like they did that to me with Lady and the Tramp. I'm like, come on, man. I want to see that in theaters. I love Lady and the Tramp. It's one of my
Yeah.
favorite Disney animated films. CinemaScope, and then they release it right on Disney
I
Plus.
know.
And you know what? It wasn't that bad. I liked it.
At least for the Disney one, I felt like this was penance because of Polar Express, which I'm still mad about. It was too uncanny and I didn't like it. It made me uncomfortable. Tom Hanks, how dare you? But the question ultimately is, though, guys, how are you feeling about these Pinocchio images? Do they get you more excited about a Guillermo del Toro Pinocchio? Are you leaning more towards one or the other? Do you think it's weird that these are coming out on streaming from big name directors?
It is.
It is pretty weird. Let us know.
2 Oscar-winning directors.
Yeah, and an Oscar-winning actor, and I can't wrap my head around it sometimes. But that's why we want to ask you. Let us know what you think about this whole Pinocchio situation in the comments down below. All right, with that down, let's move on to our next topic. All right, we've got something else kind of in the Sheridan universe now. Paramount Plus has greenlit and dropped a teaser trailer for a new Taylor Sheridan show starring Stallone himself, making his television series regular debut in Tulsa King. Now, this is a series in which Sylvester Stallone plays a gangster who's been released from prison after a 25-year sentence.
25-year stretch. And he
Yeah.
kept his mouth shut.
Yep, he's no rat.
No.
They
And
call
now
that a stand-up guy.
He's a stand-up guy.
he is a stand-up guy because snitches get stitches, as we all know. So he is then shipped off to Tulsa to take over the little crime syndicate there. But maybe not everything is what it seems to be, right? Maybe someone set him up for something.
He's going to do things his way.
Yeah, the only way. So
He
having
looks great, by the way.
Slag looks fantastic.
I love the look. I can relate to his look in this.
Yeah.
I think he looks great. I'm not as old as him, but he looks better than I do. But hey, it looks good. I mean, I thought that what a great idea to make him a mob boss because, I don't think Stallone gets enough credit for his non-Rocky and Rambo roles.
I agree.
There's been movies he was in. Like, did you ever see a a European football movie called Victory that John Huston directed with Pele. I love that movie.
Mm-hmm.
And who would have thought that Stallone, would be a soccer player? Or as they say, football.
A footballer. I think he looks great in this. And I really love this story, too. Because talk about fish out of water, too. Sylvester Stallone in Tulsa, Oklahoma is a very, very big shift for him. And him assembling his ragtag crew and taking over the town there, I think is going to be a really compelling story, too.
And I love his style.
Yeah.
I mean, he just looks great.
I think he looks fantastic. It looks like a really interesting series. Like I said, it's Taylor Sheridan as well. But we also have the Emmy Award winning writer from The Sopranos doing the scripts here as well.
Yep.
So we've really assembled a really fantastic group of folks. The other actors in this too, Andrea Savage from I'm Sorry, Martin Starr, of course, from Silicon Valley, Max Casella, The Tender Bar, Dominic Lamont from The Irishman, Vincent Piazza from Boardwalk Empire, Jay Will from The Marvelous Ms. Maisel. There's so many great actors who also have kind of danced around a lot of these kind of, Sopranos-esque shows. I think this is going to be a really, really fun watch. And also, I mean, I'm a big Martin Starr fan, so to have him in a drama like this too, I really want to see him like flex those acting chops and have him, square up against Sly.
And putting Tulsa back on the map, not since the Outsiders and Rumblefish. Has Tulsa, Oklahoma been front and center?
Getting back on here.
People are like, what?
Of course, this is on Paramount Plus too. So that streaming service is really, really like leaning into this relationship with Taylor Sheridan. What do you think about having a creator like Sheridan working so closely with a streaming network?
I think it's great. I mean, look, the output, what Greg Berlanti did on the CW with all the DC shows. Mm-hmm. It looks like Taylor Sheridan is doing, I love like Hell and High Water. And now that he's moved over to TV, he's got his own Yellowstone shared universe that he keeps expanding. I read some article about they're shooting in a mining town in Montana where he's now doing an urban version of the Yellowstone universe or something. And I think it's great, as long as the quality's there. But he seems to be a total like iconoclast. No one's going to take away. He's going to do it his way.
Yeah.
You're not going to tell me what to do. So I think that, I don't know if he talks like that. I'm just doing some rando voice.
It's like a hybrid Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for agreeing.
I know what you're thinking.
I feel like it's a little looser jaw.
Yeah.
Sly's he's gotten punched.
Yeah. I don't do a Sly impression.
I can't. I'm not gonna embarrass the man.
Yeah, I don't do that.
To do the voice.
I don't know where that one came from.
Now,
but yeah, I'm a huge fan of all the shows. I loved 1883.
Yeah.
The Yellowstone prequel show. I love the fact that they just shot that like on the plains. Like it was great.
Oh yeah.
I loved it.
It's beautiful, beautiful stuff and really compelling storytelling, which I think is the big draw here. Paramount Plus seems to be making really great connections with storytellers and then having a kind of stable of them as well of this is who we want to work with and who we want to expand our streaming universe with.
I kind of like in this day and age that Taylor Sheridan has gone back and he's bringing back the testosterone into these things because like that gun battle in 1883 when they were like they're fighting off the cattle rustlers and they're fighting like in the plains like there's nowhere to hide. There's like tall grass and people are coming at you on horseback with guns. Like I'd never seen it before. I'm like, I'm so glad I didn't live in the Old West.
Oh, it'd be terrifying. I would have been dead so
not
quickly.
Fun.
I have no skill set that would have allowed me to live back then.
No, but what he's doing, I think, is great.
Well, yeah, and really kick-ass women on these shows, too. So we've got great action, great storytelling, wonderful character development. I know, like, the relationships on there are one of the few romances, too, that John's like, I buy this.
Yep. I mean,
really
the thing that the idea that, look, it's so weird to think that, well, only white men were responsible for all of history. No. But behind every great man is a great woman. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the time, women led the way. It's just they didn't write the history books.
Exactly. So it's nice to see it under a fresh new lens. But of course, we've got this show, Tulsa King, coming up on Paramount Plus with Sylvester Stallone coming to television. So many big movie stars are coming to TV. It's a nice renaissance moment, I think. Guys, the question is for you. How do you feel about the show? Did you get to check out the teaser trailer? Are you interested? Do you think this is just going to be kind of Let us know your thoughts. We would love to hear how you feel about Tulsa King. All right. With that down and out of the way, let's move on to a topic that you're excited about, Rob.
I am very excited about this. I just have to say.
There is going to be a Dirty Dancing sequel. And
with Baby.
With Baby.
They've been putting her in the corner for 36 years.
And now she's getting out of there. And it's not some Havana Nights nonsense.
No.
This is a story about baby, for baby.
All the babies
All
everywhere.
the babies everywhere. It's
No.
very, very exciting.
Look, this is another one of those examples of like the great sequels in history that took a long time to reach us. The Color of Money, with Paul Newman coming back to play Fast Eddie Felson from his signature role back in the 60s in The Hustler. That was like 20 years. Top Gun Maverick, what is that, 36 years. This is going to be close to have Baby come back. I mean, come on.
It's very, very exciting.
Unfortunately, Patrick Swayze can't, but his spirit will.
Absolutely.
And, I recently, would you be surprised to know that I have a 4K steelbook of Dirty Dancing in my
What?
physical media collection?
Wild. Blown away.
Yes, shout out to Cliff Stevenson's wife. She's an executive at Lionsgate who sent me one.
Oh, that's so nice. Well, that brings us to more about this film. This is coming from Deadline. Lionsgate announced this afternoon that their Dirty Dancing sequel, starring Jennifer Grey, will hit theaters February 9th, 2024. Deadline first reported about the project, which Jonathan Levine is directing off a screenplay by Elizabeth Chomko, Jonathan Levine, Mickey Daughtry, Tobias Iconis. Hope I pronounced that right. In part 2, Baby, Jennifer Grey, takes us back to Kellerman's Resort for a story of summer, young romance, and dancing. That weekend is the pre-Valentine's Day weekend, and right now, Universal has an untitled animation film on the calendar. Oh, that's another story. Sorry. Boop.
I mean, if the dancing scenes can be the equivalent of the flying scenes in Top Gun Maverick, they might really have something.
Like if they get some like
I mean, think about the
amazing
aerial
drone
moves in
shots,
this
just-
movie,
Yeah.
you know?
because they swing around and
It's
pirouette.
the jump,
It's like-
but with a drone. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even higher, farther, faster. Come on.
I mean,
The
you pull
twerking.
real G's dancing. If you're a good dancer, you pull some serious G's.
This
So
is
people
very
can pass
true.
out.
This is very true. Now, one of the things, too, about the original Dirty Dancing is the extras, they had to actually sequester them away from each other, all the dancers and everything, because the dancing was so dirty, so sexual. And they were really worried about actors just like being horny around
Shenanigans.
There's dirtier dancing now.
I was going to say.
We all know that.
Is this a movie we're going to up the ante for a modern day audience? What kind of story do you think is going to happen? What kind of dancing do you think there's going to be? The dirtiest dancing?
Well, it still would be a period piece.
Yes.
So I guess it's like still in the, well, how Baby, it has to be, so Dirty Dancing takes place in the 50s, right? So if they're going to if Jennifer Grey's back, it's got to be real time. So then we'd be in the 80s.
Yep.
So this could be like Breaking 2 Electric Boogaloo, Shabba Doo and Shabba Ranks, you know,
Yeah.
coming back. I would love to see a Dirty Dancing movie set in the 80s. I mean, I don't know if that would be the same vibe,
Yeah.
but I'd watch it.
But literally, I mean, from a time stance, that makes sense. How do you think, too, that they're going to pay tribute to Patrick Swayze in this film?
That's a good question. I mean, I think there's a thin line there because obviously he has to be recast. But I think they're going to have to. I mean, if the movie's a romance and Baby falls in love, I mean, it's interesting because Jennifer Grey's like in her 50s. Maybe she's a widower, you know, and she's gone back to like, to she's depressed and she finds new love.
She wants to go back to where she first met Johnny.
Maybe.
And maybe see if she can find love there again.
You know, actually, maybe not. She's not looking to find love. That's the thing. And love finds her.
Ooh, that's beautiful. Love that. And hopefully she'll just still carry a watermelon around.
Yeah. Well,
I think that's a must.
Yeah, absolutely.
You gotta.
Because why not?
What are the chances you think Channing Tatum is going to be in this? He's one of the dancers. He's one of those actors that can dance really well.
Yeah.
You know? John Cena, maybe.
I would love John Cena to be in Dirty Dancing too. I think that'd be wonderful. I'd be all for it. But guys, what do you think about a Dirty Dancing 2? Are you excited? Are you interested? Do you not care at all?
I can see our audience is like, I can't wait for Oh wait, no.
Wait. Yeah.
No, that's not. But you know what? Dirty Dancing, perennial favorite on cable. Everyone's seen it a million times. There's a great episode of The Movies That Made Us about Dirty Dancing. It's a product of its time. And maybe its time has come around again.
I think so. And you know what? If someone like you, Rob, who loves Star Trek and Star Wars so much, also has a deep love for movies like Dirty Dancing, I think many of our audience will too. There's a nice Venn diagram of what you can like as a film goer, right?
Come on, man. I used to think of myself as Ren McCormick. I wanted to be Kevin Bacon in Footloose, man.
Man, I still dance out my rage. So
You know,
Still
when
have
I'm
a
not throwing
chance.
video
Let's-
game controls.
let's hear it for the boy.
I literally almost spit my coffee out on the control panel when you said that.
You know, I can be youthful at heart.
Joking.
Well, when Robert said
No, when she says I still dance out my rage, I'm like, mouthful of coffee.
I do. It's a good day when you get a spit take. But let us know, guys, what you think about Dirty Dancing 2. Is this going to be like the top Maverick of dance films? Top Gun Maverick of dance films? That's
Oh,
what
well, I
we're
think it would
having?
have to be.
Yeah.
And imagine the new cameras they have to build to catch the dancing exactly the way they want to.
4K and beyond. It's going to be wild, y'all.
Telling you.
Dolby
let
Atmos, that sound of the butt shaking or whatever.
Booty shaking.
Booty shaking.
Yeah,
The bass boom.
that's right.
Exactly.
Now I'm in.
Especially
Well,
if
we've got-
Mix-a-Lot comes back.
We've got Ray Ora in. He's going to see Dirty Dancing.
He
right
wasn't
now.
in the
It
original
has to be
Dirty
very
Dancing.
specific, though,
Okay.
from what I was just talking about.
Hey,
That's fair. But let us know your thoughts on that, guys. Now, before we move into our fifth and final topic for today, we're going to do this a little differently, too, because, again, I mean, we're just kind of doing what we want.
they can tell.
That's This is just a very like freewheeling jazz session of the
It's
show.
true.
So we're going to go ahead and open up our super chats as we're talking about this last topic, and then go from there. Okay, so super chats are open. Get your questions in. Those multi-partners, those are always tricky. So remember to condense if you can, guys. Okay. All right. With that down, let's get into our final topic of the day. This is so dang weird to me.
Uh-oh.
There's a Pop-Tarts movie in the works.
What?
There is a Pop-Tarts movie with Jerry Seinfeld behind it. This is a story about the rise and fall of Pop-Tarts. So,
Fall.
well, just rise, I suppose. But the Unfrosted, the Pop-Tart story coming for Netflix. So this is the tagline that really, really got me here and why I really wanted us to talk about this today. It is a story of ambition about where'd the line go? Sorry, guys. A tale of ambition, betrayal, sugar, and menacing milkmen.
Wow.
If that doesn't get you interested, I don't know what will. What
That
a
sounds like
banana
my Wednesday
story.
mornings.
That's your Wednesdays?
Wait a second. So
Menacing
there was
milkmen?
some what do you call that? Some sketchy things going on with Pop-Tarts, it sounds like.
Well, apparently there was a real battle for who would make the next breakfast pastry between Kellogg's and Post. So this is what this is kind of going to dive into and explore. This comes from Deadline. We'll look at what they had to say about the film. They've won the rights to this very, very competitive film situation. I didn't know there was a war for this.
And why not?
Right? So Seinfeld's relationship. Oh, wait, there we go. Unfrosted is set in 1963 Michigan, and we'll watch as sworn cereal rivals Kellogg's and Post race to create a pastry that will change the face of breakfast forever.
Wow.
Information on the roles to be played by Seinfeld and the newly introduced members of his ensemble have not been disclosed yet, but we do have a real who's who of who's in this cast, right? We have Melissa McCarthy, Jim Gaffigan, Amy Schumer, Hugh Grant, who's on a real hot streak like we were talking about earlier this week, and James Marsden, who I absolutely adore. Also, Jerry Seinfeld is going to be in it too. We
What?
don't know who anyone's playing, but yeah, is it just going to be a whole bunch of what's the deal with Pop-Tarts? Like, how is this story going to come to fruition?
That's funny.
Well, thanks, Ray. Rob, when you hear about a Pop-Tarts movie, does that get you excited in any way, shape, or form?
Well, remember, the Coen brothers made the Hudsucker Proxy, which was about the creation of the hula hoop.
That's very true.
So, I think that any story that is about a rivalry to create something has something, and it's a competition story. There's something inherently interesting about that because you want to know who's going to win.
Yeah.
So, and who doesn't love Pop-Tarts? Do you have a favorite Pop-Tart flavor?
I really liked the s'mores ones
Yep.
growing up. Those were awesome.
I was a cinnamon Pop-Tart guy.
Those were good
is
too.
that the brown sugar one?
Yeah, the cinnamon. I
Yeah.
love cinnamon, and people have always like hot tamales are some of my favorite movie candies. And everyone always said to me, the only reason you like hot tamales is so you don't have to share them because you're the only one that likes them.
That's fair.
I'm like, that's not true. Everyone likes Mike and Ike's, but I like hot tamales. They're both, well, they both, is Farrah Pan still around? But I love Pop-Tarts. Everyone loves Pop-Tarts. I still, to this day, you know, when you get Pop-Tarts, they're in the cardboard box.
Yeah.
You pop the top off and they come in the foil
The foil
container
pack.
with two Pop-Tarts in them.
Yeah.
You know, and there's something about that crinkly foil. Like that foil, I'm convinced, is made in some secret lab only for
Only for
Pop-Tarts.
the Pop-Tart?
Probably by the same people that made the foil that the LEM was wrapped on for the Apollo missions. It's the same foil.
Controversial questions. Were you absolutely have to toast it, or did you eat that thing raw?
Oh, raw.
Raw.
You
I mean-
animal!
Oh, yeah, no, dude.
What? No, I meant for Chris. You
How
toasted them?
uncouth. You
I toasted them.
Look, toasting Pop-Tarts is great.
takes
It's
too
an
long.
entirely different experience. The crust is a totally different experience if it is raw.
Yeah.
But you know what? Pop-Tarts on the go. I'm the kind of guy that would take a really great bagel and then a piece this is gonna freak people out. I'll take a bagel and I'll take a single slice of like Kraft cheddar cheese, sharp cheddar. I will throw the piece of cheddar on the bagel, no toasting, nothing, and just eat
and
that.
just eat that?
Yeah, because it's an on-the-go
hurt
thing.
you?
Dude.
I'm telling you, Pop-Tarts are great. The thing is, when you have a Pop-Tart and you toast it, that means you're actually going to sit down.
Oh,
And eat it.
I would just walk around with my hot tart.
Oh, so because then it's too hot. You can't.
Yeah,
like if
yeah.
I'm driving
I'm with you,
somewhere,
Rob. I'm
you know
with
what I
you on
mean?
that.
You
Like if
guys,
you're going to
come
go
on.
somewhere,
Jonathan obviously
Now
is
look,
going to heat his
okay.
Pop-Tart. He microwaves his donuts.
Yeah. So if you're at home, you have time to heat up your Pop-Tart. You're not in a rush.
Yeah.
You're just going to go sit down and eat, toast it. It's wonderful. But I did learn the beauty of the raw Pop-Tart. Actually, so when I used to be in the edit bays for the Fine Brothers, you know, I'd sit in there with a producer and it's like we'd split a Pop-Tart. We don't have time to toast it.
Right.
We're trying to get content out to all you lovely
you can't
people.
go somewhere like
So
the kitchen.
I learned to just, you know, he takes one, I take one, and it's just, you know, it's not raw, it's still cooked, but you know, you just eat it cold. So I get it. They're delicious either way, but toast it.
It's over, John.
By the way, this could be the most debated topic in the comment section down below.
Ever. We thought Star Wars was divisive.
Wow.
No,
It's a hot
Pop-Tarts.
topic.
Yeah.
I gotta say this
Or
about
it's a
the
raw
actual
topic.
movie
Yeah.
that they're making.
Yeah.
I'm interested because there's a show. Is it Discovery, National Geographic, on the weekends where it's called a food something in America, food in America, something like that. They document the rivalries with Coca-Cola and Pepsi, M&Ms and Hershey's or whatever those I watched those through, and the founder was good.
Yeah,
Yep.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, the founder-
founder was great.
founder-esque. Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what the cast. The casting doesn't really. I don't really care. I'm more interested in this story.
Yeah.
That's gonna. There's some dirty stuff that happened between rival
Kellogg's and
food
Post.
companies. Yeah,
Yeah, no
food
doubt. This is
companies
gonna
back
get
in the
into
day.
corporate espionage.
There has to be an interesting story with this.
Sure.
Also, the Flaming Hot Cheeto documentary or movie that's supposed to come out about how that came out to be. I'm so looking forward to that.
They're making
Anything
a
with
Flaming
food,
Hot
baby.
Cheetos movie?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
about how it was created, about that guy who discovered it. We
Find
talked
it in
about
the
it a
Amazon?
while ago.
Was it like a
Yeah,
Flaming
deep
Hot
in the
Cheeto
Amazon, Flaming Hot Cheetos were discovered.
No, you know that story is unless they scrapped it. I
Going
mean,
through the
we
jungle with
we,
a machete, and he stumbled upon Chester the cheetah.
we reported that thing a little while ago. But yeah, all these food movies.
Well,
Keep them coming.
I'm with you, Ray. I love this kind of stuff. I listen to the Sporkville. It's one of the podcasts I listen to on the drive up here. And it's shows about food to explain humans basically and human behavior. And there's a really great episode just about like how Spam came about.
Oh, that's
which is
awesome.
really cool. There's another one that's about how all the Jello heiresses believed there was a Jello curse that followed their family. Like I love these kind of food related
Wow.
things. And so when you take something too that is just I mean, it is very like Americana, right? A Pop-Tart. It's
Right.
what we all kind of grew up eating as a quick breakfast when our moms were like, just go, get to school, who cares? To have that nostalgia of what you used to eat as a kid mixed with corporate espionage and all of the dirty, dirty stuff that could happen behind the scenes in the 1960s, I do think it could be a really intriguing film. The thing that's the oddest to me, honestly, is just Jerry Seinfeld gravitating towards this.
He probably loved Pop-Tarts as a kid.
Yeah.
You know?
That and maybe the characters involved in the real story were really kooky characters. Were like very outrageous, and I could see each one of these cast members playing that part or whatever. Do we have a release date for this or anything?
We don't. This is just in the works now. They're in the pre-production stage of this. This is going to Netflix, though, you guys. So that's another thing. We talked about how animation, I'm a little more lenient. Live action film going to Netflix. Does that give us any pause here?
Well, it's got a great pedigree.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think the story's compelling.
Yeah.
But you know, Netflix might adopt because of their stock price tumbling, they might turn to theatrical distribution.
That's very
Because
true.
why not? I mean, The Gray Man, a $220 million film with Chris Evans and of course Ryan Gosling fighting each other. Why not put that in the theater, gain some of that cheddar, make the money back, and then put it on your streaming service? So
Absolutely.
maybe even though it's for Netflix, we'll see it in theaters.
Well, and Netflix has had a few prestige films, obviously, Oscar-nominated films, too. And stories like this tend to either be little indie darlings that we kind of see smiling, they're fine, or they blow up and they do have that kind of prestige following
Yeah.
where they get nominated for things.
By the way, just as an aside, I realized as I thought about it, like I would eat cinnamon Pop-Tarts raw, but I did not like fruity Pop-Tarts raw.
Oh, yeah, if you ate a raspberry raw, that was
I
you're
didn't
an
like
animal.
that. I
They're
like
all
the,
good raw, baby.
No, you didn't raw dog a fruity
Raw
a fruity
dog. No.
you didn't
No,
raw
I
dog
did.
no, you didn't raw dog
No.
a fruity Pop-Tart. You had to heat it up.
Technically, you raw dog all of them because you take them out of the wrapper.
But to bring up a point of
I think we just killed Rob.
Okay,
He
Rob.
really just died.
Rob is no, he's actually eating a Pop-Tart underneath his desk.
I mean,
I didn't even get
He's
the joke.
thinking in raw Pop-Tarts.
I didn't get to
He's
hear it.
like, I would
thought
never
Rob
eat
keel
fruit
over and
Pop-Tarts. Oh, we got Rob, baby. Switch the chips.
but you were saying
Rob Tart. Okay. I'm saying if they keep it like a documentary style, like I've never had a problem with Netflix documentaries. You know, I think they're good. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, I guess. If they really go by the book of what happened with this brand or this food, then I'm all for watching this. I'm totally excited for it. Yeah.
Well, guys, the question is up for you. What do you think of Unfrosted, the Untold Pop-Tarts tale? Are you interested? Are you worried about being on Netflix? How do you eat your Pop-Tarts? Let us know all your hot takes in the comments down below. Now, before we get to all those super chats, guys, we are going to hear a word from another one of our sponsors, someone who thinks you should cook a meal, HelloFresh.
Guys, we want to take a second to thank the sponsor of today's video, HelloFresh. Let me take a second to tell you why my wife Ann and I love HelloFresh. As two working professionals, at the end of the day, it can be tough to get dinner together, and HelloFresh saves us loads of time, money, and most importantly, gives us great tasting and nutritious meals. And no joke, with the easy to follow along instructions, Ann and I actually have a blast cooking dinner together. And they're so foolproof, even I can do it alone when Ann's not there. And HelloFresh now has over 30 dinner recipes to choose from every single week. That is the most choices of any meal kit out there. Customize your favorite dishes with new Hello Custom offerings by swapping out one protein or side for another, upgrading for a more luxe experience, or even adding protein to a veggie meal. So guys, right now, go to hellofresh.com/Campea16 and use the code Campea16 for up to 16 free meals and 3 free gifts. Once again, that's hellofresh.com/Campea16. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit.
And thank you so much to everyone over at HelloFresh. Again, guys, use those coupon codes. It helps you. It helps us. It's a very lovely symbiotic relationship. Before we get into our super chats, guys, Rob and I just saw, thanks to the chat, and we checked on his Twitter and everything. We just saw that comic book artist, the incredible Tim Sale, has passed. And we just wanted to take a moment to remember him and all the incredible work he did. One of my favorite artists of all time. I have so many posters of his work for Catwoman When in Rome, Spider-Man Blue. I loved his work in Heroes. Rob, I know that you got to work with him.
Yeah, I've only I self-published a comic book series back in the aughts called Living in Infamy, and he did the cover for issue 4 for us. And one of my favorite comic artists as well. He will be missed.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for bringing that to our attention. And, we're going to keep going with the show and we'll try to lighten the mood back up. But we just wanted to make sure that we paid a little respect to such an incredible, incredible artist. So let us know your favorite Tim Sale works too in the comments. We'd really like to talk to you about him. With that down, though, let's get into some of these super chats, okay?
Well, let's start with Wobu Wobu sends in a super chat, and Mansplainer. How you doing, Mansplainer? Sent in a super chat.
I'm so familiar with you.
I'm a big fan. No, of him personally.
Oh, okay. I was like, of
you know the
mansplaining?
guy.
He's like, let me explain. Okay.
Chris, you don't
Yeah, Chris,
understand.
let me tell you. Andy sends in a super chat and says, there should be a Toy Story kind of movie with hot toys. That would actually be the most ambitious crossover ever. But the thing is, Andy, with hot toys, they're just licensed figures.
Yeah.
So they're other. So you'd have Superman and the Marvel characters, and now we've got Buzz Lightyear. So it really wouldn't be a crossover. Whereas the Toy Story characters, I mean, yeah, you had Slinky, but they were original characters that were redolent of other toys.
Yeah.
But
and like Barbie popped up in there, Mr. Potato Head. But those were ones I think too that lended themselves to being lampooned a little bit more.
yes, whereas hot toys they're the most realistic looking. It's like it's Obi-Wan.
Well, and it'd be sad because they're toys that you don't play with.
It's true.
And they're just toys that you look at. So it'd be a very existential film of like, what is the purpose? And we've already touched
Be like
on
waiting for
existential
Godot, waiting
Well,
for the people to play with them.
Yeah.
Not to mention, I'd have a question on like using the likeness of all these people.
Oh,
Yeah, you have a hard time.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be a very expensive film.
It's one of the reasons why actually that there's not a lot of Giselle merch because it's Amy Adams' likeness.
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
it's true.
Yeah.
Sorry, Andy, we're going to pass on your idea, but wonderful.
It is wonderful. Sam Fisher, 1 of 3, says, I remember reading that for 2 of the Avatar movies, one is about the adult Zuko and one is a prequel set before the OG series. I hope the prequel is about the second Avatar because no one will know about the Avatar cycle. So we see the start of these traditions. The Zuko movie will probably animate The Search.
It's right above it.
Oh, and The Search comic, which is about finding Zuko's mom. As to the third, I have no idea. Maybe it's about Kyoshi. She is super popular and has focused 2 novels. What do you think, Chris?
That's all great, Sam. Yeah. I think doing a second Avatar story would be really interesting because you have Juan, the first Avatar, and we have a few episodes about him and starting the Avatar being a thing, right? Of going out and working with spirits and being able to bend multiple different elements. So having that second one of, oh, when the Avatar dies, somebody else takes their place, that could be really interesting to get into. I do think everyone loves Zuko and they love the original cast so much that it would be, just silly to not focus on these characters, especially because even though you might be a diehard Avatar fan, you might not have read the comics, and that's totally okay, right? I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and I haven't read all the novels. So I think it'd be a great thing to incorporate that storytelling into animation, take it from the comics, maybe play with it a little bit more and expand upon that. And then Kyoshi, I think, is a dead ringer for stuff. Super, super interesting warrior woman who just has an incredible backstory, came from nothing, was really exploited, and had a lot of things thrown at her, and those novels are fascinating. And also dives into some of the darker elements of like bloodbending and things like that.
And of course, Zuko is Danny Zuko, which is John Travolta's character from Grease.
Obviously, yeah.
Born to hand jive.
Yeah, he just constantly is firebending and yelling, "You better shape up."
Because I need a man.
Yeah, my heart is set on you.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Thanks for that, though, Sam. I love getting talked about Avatar, so thank you for giving me an excuse.
Andy is here to say that Klaus Michelson is coming back for the series finale of Legacies. I love this character so much, and I'm excited to see even a glimpse of him tonight. Well, I've never watched Legacies. Is this a Julie Plec series? It's part of her whole that she created.
So it's
Legacies was from the originals.
It's from like the Vampire
Diaries.
Vampire Diaries in the originals, and then this is one of their kids, Hope Michelson, at this school, the Salvatore School for gifted youngsters, essentially, of just supernatural youngsters. But it is coming to an end, so I guess we'll see more of Hope's family come into the fold, see some of those old characters.
Well, shout out to Julie Plec. She's a TV series creator that does not get enough talk in the nerd space, but she deserves to be spoken of.
Shout out, Julie.
Shout out to you, Julie.
Yeah.
How about those Hollywood Cafe days back on AOL with Amy Cohen? Stubble McShave says, do you think D23 will have a trailer for the Shogun series since it's supposed to come out in 2022 and will be streamed on Disney Plus, star internationally? Okay. James Clavell's Shogun is one of my favorite books I've ever read, and the miniseries, the original miniseries with John Rhys Davies, Toshiro Mifune, and Richard Chamberlain as Blackthorn is one of my favorite things I've ever seen ever. And yes, I have it on Blu-ray.
Of course you do.
It's incredible. So they have remade this show. Now, what I don't understand is why aren't there giant billboards everywhere? There probably will be. I love Shogun. It's incredible. and they've said they're going to remake it. I mean, this couldn't have been cheap. Set in feudal Japan, it's about a man from the Western world who washes up in Japan and gets involved in the intrigue, the political intrigue among the Tokugawa. I think, is it Tokugawa shogunate? I'm not sure the actual era, but feudal lords in Japan. Fascinating stuff. And what was so great about the miniseries is it wasn't subtitled. So when you're watching the show, you're learning Japanese as Blackthorn moves through the show.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, and I believe it debuted in September 15th, like 1980.
Okay.
And Yoko Shimada, who played the love interest, is September 15th is in my circle of friends, Talk Like Yoko Shimada Day. I know it's a deep cut, but if you haven't seen Shogun, watch it. It's one of the great TV miniseries of all time. Stubble, where is this show? I don't know. I've heard nothing about it.
No.
Other than the fact that, yes, it's getting made, but beyond that, where is it? I think that's a good question. Hopefully one day they'll just drop it on us.
I mean, supposedly it started filming back in 2021. So,
Maybe everyone got beheaded.
Maybe.
Feudal Japan was a brutal
It's a
place.
rough time.
Tough.
But D23, I think, would be a good place to finally learn some things about this.
Yeah. I mean, I can't wait. Hopefully it's great. Mickey Veach says, Rob, I agree. Stallone doesn't get enough credit. It's time to acknowledge that Stop or My Mom Will Shoot is an all-time great. Well, Mickey, I believe in half of your statement. Yes, he does not get enough credit. I cannot go with you on the Stop or My Mom Will Shoot train. I don't think that train.
The
I don't
Oscar snubbed film.
or Oscar, another movie that he was in that doesn't get enough credit.
I love Oscar.
Well, okay.
Oh, wow. Did you
I'll
see
take
that
that.
laugh
Oh.
he had towards you, Jonathan?
That's all right.
Come on, Copland. It's all good. Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. Jay Bling says, Rob, Tyrese confirmed Jason Statham's return for Fast X. Hashtag justice for Han is imminent. You know what? I have to say that Fast 9, it really muddied the waters of the whole Han backstory to the point where does Han need justice anymore? No, he's some intelligence operative. It was all a bunch of BS. And I love Sun Kang. I love Han. But Fast 9, his convoluted backstory, it really diminished my desire for justice for Han because there really isn't justice now. Don't get me started. I could do a whole show about this, but I won't.
All right. Well, let's see what's next then.
Alex Mata says, saying Ant-Man looks younger than he actually is in universe is one of the best meta jokes I've heard. What do you think?
I love that moment too of why would you think that you have Ant-Man powers? This is from Miss Marvel of because we're both charming and we look younger than we are. And I was like, yeah. I love all of the lovely little Paul Rudd references that Ms. Marvel is making because the in-universe podcast, which I feel like Paul Rudd would absolutely commit to doing. We talked about
He would that guy would totally do it.
And I think we should point out that like Paul Rudd probably is a vampire. He keeps getting younger and younger. He's an adorable little immortal.
He's in his 50s.
Yeah. He's the sexiest man alive, according to people.
He makes a great action figure.
Oh,
But
yeah?
if he goes on that podcast, I still want him to do a Mac and Me joke, even though it's not Conan.
He should. That's the remake I want. I want him to do a Mac and Me film.
Why not? Andrew Rice says, imagine a Darth Vader movie that's like Halloween, but instead of Mike Myers' theme, it's Vader's breathing. Disney makes Vader terrifying. I mean, I would watch that.
Yeah.
But I would watch that where you never see, you hear Vader, but he never does anything. He just walks around and menaces people, and they hear him breathing, but they never see him.
Looming presence.
That way you wouldn't have to pay for a Vader costume. You just hear it in the background of the surround speakers.
Yeah.
And play the Imperial March.
And I will give it to Disney too. I mean, we talked about how maybe Vader's a little one note, maybe Vader's a little overpowered at times, but he is spooky. He is very
spooky.
scary and powerful. And I loved that Force Unleashed moment. I love being able to just not even engage in a lightsaber battle, but win.
That was the best.
Yeah.
He's toying with her.
Yeah.
I did like that.
They do a good job of making him a scary guy.
It's true. They do. Elizabeth Gerardo says Patricia Heaton got very heated on Tim Allen not coming back to voice Buzz Lightyear, even though she knows that it's the real person and not the toy. Thoughts?
I saw this tweet and I thought, why do we care? it's a different thing because it was this whole thing of how this was a waste, and Tim Allen's who made Buzz Lightyear a famous character. And sure, yeah, Tim Allen did a great job voicing Buzz
As the toy.
It's
Yeah.
a different character. It's a different character, and I mean, everyone's entitled to their opinions. That's what we do on this show, and that's what we have you guys do in the chat, live or otherwise. We want you to tell us your opinions, but you know, everyone's entitled to their own. Opinions are like assholes, right? Everyone has one. But your opinions don't have to make you an asshole. And I think there is a way about saying something in a nice, convivial way that doesn't have to put down another actor who's assuming a role.
Plus, I mean, they did make 4 Toy Story movies.
Yeah.
I think Tim Allen's doing just fine.
Tim Allen's
Yeah, it's
fine.
not like, I mean, how much money did he make on Home Improvement or whatever?
Exactly. He's got all those pure Michigan ads.
Was that
He's
his show?
good.
Home
His
Improvement?
great grandchildren will still go to college. It'll be great.
Yeah. Tim Allen's not hurting.
No. He's got that TV success money. Josie Review says, I loved Lightyear. It's a fun standalone film. If you're a fan of Nintendo 64, you'll smile at a scene. There are 2 post-credit scenes, but you don't have to stay for the last one. But it is cute. I didn't know that there were post-credit scenes.
I mean, Josie, I'll stay for both of them.
I can't
Especially
wait.
if it's adorable.
Looking forward to it.
I'm very excited. I'm going to try to see it tonight. I've got to go help a friend with an audition after this show, but I'm really excited to try to go see this.
Nice. Could be good.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I'm going to see it this weekend too. Stubble McShave back from Sweden says, I hope R2-D2 and C-3PO aren't with Bale in episode 6 of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Ooh.
You know what? I bet they are.
It feels like something that'll happen.
Yeah, I could see that because any opportunity to throw something in that to make us realize the universe is that much smaller than it really is, they'll do it.
Well, I initially thought, too, that the little home security device that was popping up, I thought that was R2 buried in the sand. That was my headcanon for a while. I was like, that's a weird place to put a droid, but okay.
I wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe.
I mean, they were on the blockade runner after
Yeah.
all. That's when we first met them.
We should get some Pop-Tarts right now. That would be so amazing.
That's a great transition.
Sorry.
Wow.
I'm just thinking about
Pretty
all the
good.
flavors of Pop-Tarts.
Living with Dameron says, a year ago, would you have believed a time traveler saying Mrs. Marvel would be a better show than Obi-Wan Kenobi? Wild times.
Oof. Well, I mean, I love the Ms. Marvel comics, so I would have had hope. But yeah, I would have thought that Obi-Wan would have kind of stomped this show. But hey, and for some people it is. For
Yeah.
some people, they like
true.
Obi-Wan more. For some people, they like Ms. Marvel more. I'm personally liking Ms. Marvel more right now. We're also only 2 episodes in.
Yeah, it could screw the pooch.
Exactly. I was whole hog on Obi-Wan, and
Well, you
now
only
I'm
got
kind of
2 episodes in for Obi-Wan until we got rug pulled. So
That's true.
Yeah. It's true. Raymond Verada says, Rob, what do you think of the latest Strange New Worlds episode, The Serene Squall, and the surprise character reveal in the end? Do you want to know who the surprise character is?
No,
yeah, I don't. Because well, if it's a spoiler and
Yeah,
people
don't
are
do it.
fans,
Okay, I'm not going to spoil it.
Yeah.
Look,
but you will.
Look, Strange New Worlds and modern Star Trek is all about, it couldn't see. Let me just say something quickly
Okay.
about this, okay? So when they made The Next Generation, everyone knows in the pilot of Next Generation, DeForest Kelley appears as an admiral. Everyone knew it was McCoy. They never said his name. The next time, and sometimes they would reference something in the dialogue, like in the god-awful The Naked Now, which was the actual first regular episode of Next Generation. It wasn't until season 3 that they brought in Mark Leonard as Spock's father, Sarek, in the episode Sarek, that was based on a story by Peter S. Beagle, one of the great fantasists of our time. 3 seasons, 26 episodes a season, actually 22 in the second season because of the writer's strike. So you had 26 episodes in the first, 22nd episode, 22 episodes in the second, 26 episodes in the third season. That's a lot of Star Trek.
That's a ton.
They only had 2 references to classic Trek, at least on screen. Dialogue, they had more. This show is 7 episodes in. Half of the cast of the show is people that were in the original series or referenced. Leon Noonien Singh is a descendant of Khans. It's so annoying. They got to episode 7. They brought back a character that is from Star Trek history. Little controversial.
Okay.
but they brought the character in. Just you wouldn't think they would have done this, but they did.
Well, okay.
What do I think?
What do you think about the
I would really love it if the people that are making Star Trek would not be so reliant upon other people's character creations, other people's stories. They just borrow willy-nilly from all of these other writers without accreditation.
Well, let
And
me
it
ask you though,
bothers
because
me.
a lot of times too, you've talked to looking back towards, past Star Trek for guidance and things, and some of the things that need to be influenced in modern Star Trek, right? So, what's the sweet spot for you then? How much do they need to look to the past, and how much do they need to create their own universe and pull from other mediums? Because I know we've talked about that with Star Wars too, of looking outside of yourself, but still paying tribute to the past.
Well, okay, here's the thing. I don't think they should pay tribute to the past.
Okay.
I think that a Star Trek series, and we saw it already, the template was Star Trek the original series, Star Trek the Next Generation, Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Star Trek Voyager, and then they did a prequel series that had all new characters. They did 5 shows. And here you have, and this show, all of modern Star Trek, whether it's Picard, whether it's Discovery, whether it's Strange New Worlds, is all about previous shows. And I think that what is great about science fiction is how does it comment on our world today? And everything they're doing is they're going back and they're retconning the past. And I don't like that.
That's a fair complaint. All right.
But
Smart
that
work getting
said-
the Star Trek ones in.
That said, they did introduce a character that we've seen before that surprised me. But even that, it's like, we're going to bring back a character that I bet you didn't think we'd bring this character back, did you?
Do they do that stance? Do the writers come
Probably.
in and frame and go,
Oh, these writers stand in front of mirrors and talk to themselves and tell each other how awesome they are.
how did you ever get banned by them on Twitter?
I don't know. Akiva Goldsman, he blocked me on
no.
Twitter. Akiva Goldsman, who I've actually partied with, but he wouldn't remember that.
Oh,
He pre-banned me on Twitter.
well, that's
He directed
show
A Winter's
you.
Tale. That's all I'm saying.
Partying
Sam
doesn't
Fisher
mean
says that blonde trailer was haunting and beautiful. I think that she is Marilyn. I think this movie plays it as Marilyn possessing Norma Jean.
That's really what it seems
I love that
like.
idea.
Yeah. It does seem like she's waiting for that spirit to inhabit her. Well said, Sam.
I love it. That's
Yeah.
what a great comment. Glenn Mark says, "Hey Rob, you should do Chris's voiceover classes.
Yeah.
My homework this week is to breathe life into a spider creature. Is that real homework from your
Yeah.
class?
Yeah, this is our mocap week. So we're talking about motion capture and being that rig for an animator to work off of, and how you really just have your voice, breath, and body to provide artisans with something to mold and be malleable, but also give a grounded performance.
Well, since it is a super chat, could you give us an example of breathing life into a spider creature?
Ooh, okay. Well, you have to decide how your spider moves. So a lot of times too, if you take from somebody like a D. Bradley Baker, who actually looks at the physiology of creatures, he actually takes pictures of bugs and watches nature documentaries. That's why he can do so many wonderful animal voices. You have to decide if your spider's going to have pincers. You have to decide on how they breathe, how humanoid they are and everything too. So if it's a different breathing apparatus, then maybe everything starts to be tighter in your chest. Maybe everything gets a little floppier because there's different things happening with your mouth and everything. Or maybe you're very, very elegant. Maybe you move very, very slowly. And there's a bit more of a welcoming thing to you because you entice things towards you. So you can play it a bunch of different ways.
Well, how would you do it?
How I would do it, the script that Glenn was given, because he has a spider creature. Everyone has different creatures in class. I would personally play it because it's a parent. So I would play it very, very nurturing and welcoming, and then have a nice turn that's justified in why I'm going to eat the
Don't
people
tell
there.
us. Show us.
There's not enough time, Rob. Take my class.
You want to hear
Give
my
me
spider,
money.
Rob? Hey, I'm a spider.
I'm a spider.
That's my impression for everything.
Wow.
Hey, I'm a
Gold
horse.
star. Oscar.
All right.
All right, let me read this
pretty good,
member
though.
chat real quick from John Redcorn. He says, in 2023, we're getting 3 MCU films, Ant-Man 3, Guardians 3, and The Marvels. 3 DC films, Aquaman 2, Blue Beetle, and maybe Flash. And 3 Sony films, Kraven, Spider-Verse 2, and Madam Web. Next year will be nuts.
Wait, what?
There's a Madam Web movie.
You're kidding.
What's happening? Speaking of spider women.
No one knows that.
Wow. Who decided to make a Madam Web film?
Wild, right? It's the first you're hearing of this.
I've never heard of it.
Also, just because a lot of the chat is pointing it out, there's going to be a new Wonder Man series coming to Disney Plus. We'll probably talk about it more tomorrow.
Oh, did they announce that today?
Yeah, I guess they just
It's about time. Wonder Man needs to show up in the MCU. It's
That's gonna be
time.
fun.
Can't believe Wonder Man hasn't been in the Avengers yet.
I know.
Okay, well, I will take. How much does your class cost?
Oh, it is for the group class. It's $175 for 4 2-hour classes, meeting once a week.
So, should I like put on some kind of so you don't know it's me? Should I?
I mean,
do
I'll know
like
it's you. It's on Zoom, Rob.
So I'd have to disguise my voice.
Yeah, but
Okay.
I'd also see your face because I make everyone turn their cameras on.
Oh, I'll have some kind of I'll wear a mask.
You're just gonna Mrs. Doubtfire me?
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
That's great.
You won't know it's me.
Hello, Chris. That'd be awesome.
Suthius says, on a recent Star Talk Live episode, 2 comedians actors accompanied Dr. Neil deGrasse Tyson and his guests. They were none other than John Mulaney and Ellie Kemper.
Oh, cute. I've got to listen to that.
I would listen to that too.
I love that. Just John Mulaney asking questions about space makes me very happy.
Yeah. I love John Mulaney.
He's so great.
He's great. He's great. Josh Baker says, Cha-Cha real smooth tomorrow. Heard it's great. Have you heard of this movie?
We watched the trailer together.
We did watch the trailer
Yeah,
together.
I'm excited about this one.
Yeah, big Sundance darling, actor, director. It could be the Citizen Kane of relationship movies. And again, who's in it? Dakota Johnson.
Madam Web.
She's playing Madam
There's
Web?
a Madam Web movie. It's wild.
Man. Dakota Johnson is, I wonder who thought that one up.
It's crazy.
Oh. Film Code Podcast says, booty shaking in 4DX, sign me up.
Yes. Dirty Dancing too. Dirtier and more booty.
Yes.
Yeah.
Someone gets it. Somebody.
Man of the people, Ray Ora knows that
Now,
people
are they
want
gonna
booty
spray
shaking.
like salty sweat in your face or something?
Yeah, it's the 4DX experience. They just have little cannons of BO that go up near
Nice.
you.
Booty
Yeah.
sweat. It's the best
Nice.
kind.
Oh, man.
Sign you up? Well, apparently Rayor is signing up for the Booty Sweat 4DX experience.
4DX, baby.
Sam Fisher says, this Blonde movie has to use Candle in the Wind. Well, I mean, they
It
didn't.
could.
I mean, it wasn't there yet,
Yeah.
but that would kind of be depressing.
You could have a very haunting rendition of it in the closing credits.
What if she sang it to President Kennedy? Some
That would
dream
be
sequence.
That would be very, very weird of being like, hey, here's a song written about my death.
It's not good. Al Renshaw says, I remember writing into the show about the Pop-Tarts movie when it was announced and Rob was dying laughing. Well, see, nothing changes.
Yeah.
I just continue to, I expect to die laughing on this show.
Yeah, that's how you're gonna
maybe
go.
maybe that's my future demise. The
I
same
thought
way
you
that
did.
Captain
I
Pike.
literally thought you died on the show. I was like,
When you fell over, it was a
Spirit Rob on the show right now.
That was that was hard to control. You know what? I will say this: I've laughed harder on this show in the last 6 months than I've laughed in years.
No,
Aw.
A lot of
I know.
between the Trade Federation
That was
and today raw dogging Pop-Tarts. They're all raw because they are
when
technically
Rob
unwrapped.
breaks down and laughing, it's one of the coolest things to witness
the
in
best.
person because it literally looks like he can't control it.
I
Like,
can't.
It has to come out. We have to stop and just let it pass.
It makes me feel so vindicated whenever I get you to almost do a spit take.
Wow, it's true.
It's especially when we get to be desk mates and I get to just say snarky shit just to you.
Oh.
Is my favorite. And I'm gonna go off mic.
Spencer Nielsen says, I watched In the Mood for Love for the first time. You're the second person to write in and say you watched In the Mood for Love. Thank you. Thank you for
you,
understanding the greatness of this movie.
Mr.
I
Spence.
watched In the Mood for Love for the first time. I can't believe how beautiful Maggie Chung is. And if you think Tony Leung was good in Shang-Chi, you ain't seen nothing yet. Well, Spencer, you've taken your first step into a larger world. I mean, Wong Kar-wai is one of my favorite directors. And as I've said, everything from Days of Being Wild to Chungking Express and Fallen Angels. Two Happy Together is a good movie to watch for Pride Month. And of course, In the Mood for Love in 2046, which is actually kind of the sequel to In the Mood for Love. And of course, is Ip Man movie, The Grand Master. I'm telling you, if you have physical media, get the Criterion Wong Kar-wai box set. Man, I'm glad you love the movie. And Maggie Chung in that film is one of the most beautiful women who has ever graced the silver screen.
Also, Rob, can you point out to Spencer how much that Criterion box set would cost?
I don't know.
Box sets are always expensive.
No, it's a beautiful box set. I would imagine it's like $100.
Yeah.
But what do you mean? Yeah, it's worth it.
No,
You should buy it.
obvious. No,
You'll feel better
I'm with
about
you on
yourself.
physical media, but whenever someone says box set of anything, I'm like, that's not $10 like my $10 Walmart.
Oh yeah,
Blu-rays
no,
in
it's
the
like
bin.
$100. But it comes with a book, and it's really, really good.
No, I'm with
Great
you.
special features.
I think they're worth it.
Sam Fisher says Del Toro's Pinocchio looks creepy and adorable.
Heck yeah. Creepy and adorable.
Story
That's
of your
my
life.
brand. Yeah. That's what I'm always aiming for. Off-putting and cute.
Glenn Marks says 2 comments. 1, I'm watching the Ipcris File show on Acorn TV and I'm digging it. There's also an original movie. And 2, a random one. Does anyone here dream in color? I do, but apparently not everyone does.
Oh.
Well, we've gone over this. I don't remember my dreams.
I've dreamt in color and black and white as well, but I
Ooh.
don't just dream in,
Well, and Jonathan, you're very aware of your dreams. So do you get to switch that? Do you get to go Wizard of Oz and be like, no, this is in Technicolor now?
Well, I haven't had a lucid dream in a long time, but when I was lucid dreaming, I mean, I could control any aspect of it. It was great. I don't know why I stopped. I just know that I went through a period where I would go to bed and be like, okay, cool, I'm going to step into a lucid dream tonight, But apparently those days are over. I don't know.
Oh,
That's
man.
crazy.
My imagination's terrifying. When I go to sleep, I never know what's going to happen or where I'm going to wake up. Luis Enrique de la Pena sends in a super chat and says, good morning, A-Team.
Luis.
A-Team. What about
Yeah.
Batman Beyond Team?
Cue the
Mr.
music.
Luis.
The website Just Jared reported 2 days ago that Amber Heard will be recast or fired from Aquaman 2. If this is true, why won't they do this with Ezra Miller? Have a great day. Well, Luis, I would say we should wait and see if Just Jared is not the most, well, I guess it's kind
It's
of
a step
reputable.
up from Gus's gas station dot fart.
Yes, it is. It is. Look,
wait
I don't
for
know if
writing
that's going to happen.
Hollywood
I don't know if just because you don't like somebody in a court case, does that mean you fire him? Like,
No.
I would say that we watch the sordid tale of a bad relationship play out in a court of law, but does that mean somebody should lose their livelihood? I mean, I don't know. We might not like Amber Heard, or we like Amber Heard. I don't know. All the boys did love Mandy Lane, after all. Yeah. So I don't know.
One for us on this show too. I mean, you've heard us talk about how whether or not we like actors' performances or things like that.
Yeah.
For us, it's really more about the movies themselves, all of that, all the TMZ stuff. We really do try to avoid talking about that because it's just, one, not that interesting to all of us. And two, we really want to focus on how it affects the actual film. So when a more reputable organization such as Deadline or Hollywood Reporter or something like that confirms this about Amber Heard, then we'll probably talk about the greater ramifications of what's going to happen with Aquaman 2 as a franchise. Until then, it's all just a bunch of speculation, and
Yeah.
I'd rather let them all fight it out.
Yeah, I mean, how to let them fight. I mean, how does it play out? How is the movie affected by all this? And that's something that we can opine on.
Yeah.
Because, and look, the Flash situation to me is a fascinating case study because how is that going to, it's a continuing ongoing story.
Yeah.
And I think the real question we all have to ask ourselves is, what are they going to do with that film? And I think that's from an entertainment news perspective, from our perspective, it's fascinating.
Yeah, absolutely.
What happens when a studio invests $200 million into a film where your star goes off the reservation, literally taking somebody from that reservation with them?
Oof.
How do you do that?
Oof.
It's a little crazy. And how does that affect the film? Jay Bling says the new Chucky series revealed a special episode including a Bound reunion for Jennifer Tilly, Gina Gershon, and Joe Pantoliano. Is that true?
I have no idea. Shocking news. I have not been watching the Chucky series.
Well, have you ever seen Bound?
No.
Okay, Bound is a movie that the Wachowskis made. It's a low budget, steamy
Okay.
thriller
It's like Simi
where
Valley?
Gina, yes, where Gina Gershon and Jennifer Tilly hook up,
Ooh.
and Joey Pants is the villain of the piece. It is great, and maybe one day I will loan you my Blu-ray
You have that on
of
Blu-ray?
Bound. I do, and it has director commentary, so you can listen to the Wachowskis. A rare thing for them to have done.
Yeah.
So
Fun fact about Simi Valley: growing up, we used to call it "See Me, Touch Me, Feel Me," because of the nefarious characters that lived in "See Me, Touch Me, Feel Me."
wow.
It's a Valley thing.
Regional humor. Yes.
Jedediah Elias says, no reason for a Marilyn Monroe biopic to be NC-17 and not R-rated. Having a feeling it will stop people from watching it while exploiting Monroe's story. Well, that's always the fear.
Yeah, Jedediah, I think that's what we've talked about a couple times on this show is just, it does, I know it's always just a silly word to use, but it does feel icky. There's an ick factor of, is this necessary? Is it truthful storytelling? Is it exploitative? Is it necessary? Because, you can really convey a lot of horrible things happening to somebody without having to make it, torture porn, essentially.
Right.
I have an issue with that in other films that I think take certain violence too far to depict the horrors of torture and things like that. So I'm just really hoping that this is a story that doesn't further harm the legacy of Marilyn Monroe, and exploit her even further.
Andrew Dominik is a great filmmaker.
Yeah.
We'll see. But I think that's a very real concern. And obviously it's been a concern with Netflix and the people that made the film and how people respond to it. So it's a very real issue, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
Callie Royale 92 says, which Star Trek is your favorite from the newer movies? Run Like the Wind, Rob, 3-hour show.
Well, we
My-
already gave him the wind to run on, so this one will be
My favorite
abbreviated.
Star Trek movie, the new movies, is Galaxy Quest.
Nice.
I love Galaxy Quest
Nice.
so much.
Galaxy Quest is way more Star Trek than the last 3 Bad Robot Star Trek movies.
Wow.
Dang.
Yeah, it is, because the Bad Robot Star Trek movies, can we just talk about the fact that, you have a villain in Star Trek 09 who goes back in time almost 100 years, and he's mad, he's angry. His whole raison d'etre to be angry is because his homeworld was destroyed in a supernova. And rather than think to himself, you know what, I've gone back in time 100 years, I can go back to my homeworld and warn them that this supernova is going to happen in 100 years from now. He doesn't do that. He stays angry, blows up Vulcan, and tries to destroy the Earth. He is the dumbest villain that's ever appeared in any science fiction movie ever.
I just want Callie Royal to get what he asked. If you had to take one of the newest Star Trek movies with you on an island and you had to watch it, which one would it be?
I said Galaxy Quest.
Oh no! Out of the 3,
Yeah.
pick from the 3 bad. Just give him an answer. Like, which one is the most
The
tolerable?
lesser evil for
Yeah.
The first
Star
one-
Trek Beyond, the Justin
Star
Lin
Trek.
movie. And I'll
There you
only
go.
take that because Idris Elba's in it. And it was directed by Justin Lin.
There you go, Callie Royal. You got your answer. It'd be Star Trek.
Jeez,
Beyond.
man, why'd you make me pick one of those movies?
He
I
feels
know,
dirty
man,
now.
but
Let's
you
move
know.
on.
Yeah.
All right, he wrote in. He deserves his answer.
Yeah.
You keep me on the straight and narrow, Ray. It's
Yeah.
fine. Sam Fisher says, Chris, have you been reading the fan-made webtoon Legend of Genji about the Avatar after Korra?
I have not. I am woefully behind on webtoons, first of all, because I still need to catch up on all of the one about Hades and Persephone. Gosh, what's the name of that? I'm totally blanking on it right now, but it's
Underworld.
so good. It's so good. With Kate Beckinsale? Anytime I'm going to bring it up. So I have not read that. And if it's fan-made, I'll give it a check. I'll give it a look. But I tend to not read too much fan fiction and stuff. But I Googled it really quick, and the art for it looks really fantastic. So I'll have to give it a go.
Sold.
Yeah.
Al Runshaw says, let's have the hosts on a rotation. Chris is great, Rob is good, and Chef Pleasures would be great as well. Hashtag make Ray the host. All right.
I
All
would
right,
love
Aura.
Ray to host.
Weigh in on this. What are the chances we're going to see you in the hot seat?
You know, if I was more confident in my speaking, tend to stutter when I get nervous and stuff like that. Probably until I.
But wouldn't that be part of your charm?
Oh, I have a stutter too, though, Ray.
Oh man, it's just like you guys speak so much more clearer than I do. Sometimes I get caught up in words, like I want to use big words, and then I think about it while I'm talking.
Like
and then
calcitrant.
but yeah. So, I like being here. I don't like, getting in the way.
Well, you never get in the way, Ray.
And one day, Ray,
One day, maybe.
we're going to put you in the center seat.
Yeah.
That might be the day Ray doesn't show up for work.
Okay, we got one missed
Go for it.
question. It was, if an actor takes, it was from Royce Freeman. He says, if an actor takes medical marijuana, what are your thoughts on them coming to set under the influence?
Well,
I mean, as long as they can still do their job, because a lot of actors are not using marijuana medicinally.
yes.
I'll tell you that for free.
No, but look, as somebody who's produced films and who has to make sure that you have proper insurance, I don't want any actor on set under. I don't want any crew member or actor or anyone on set under the influence of anything ever, because if people are not completely in control of their faculties, it's a danger. However, that said, if somebody has been prescribed medical marijuana for a specific reason, pain management or something, maybe there can be exceptions made. It's just that the cast and crew, the other members, should know,
Yeah.
because you have to be able to watch that person. You never know. Film sets can be a dangerous place. There's points, there's electrical power,
Yes, sir.
there's things that can fall over on you. There are visual and physical special effects. So it's not a place where anybody should be altered in any way, shape, or form. This is not a judgment on anyone that's using medical marijuana,
No.
but your faculties are impaired, and you don't want that on a set.
Yeah. Anything being used for an actual prescription use, I think, is totally fair. It comes down to, can you still do your job?
Yes.
And I do say that with a little asterisk by it, because there are plenty of people who come on set drunk as a skunk who
Yep.
can still hit their mark and say their lines.
That's
but
right,
is that
Chris.
okay? They can have all
We
the
do.
aviation gin they want, and they're fine.
Yeah.
But I mean, is that a professional way to conduct yourself? Is that the best thing to do for all the other actors, crew, artisans who are around you? No.
Yeah. As a matter of policy, I would say no.
Yeah.
But
And
what if it's, I'm going to kind of add to this question. What if it's one of the elite? And you know what I'm talking about, like the well-respected, been in dozens of movies. You go on set and like they were under the influence. Is it something that you guys see people just ignoring just because they have that name, they have that reputation?
I mean, I've seen that personally. And I do think things do start with who's number one on the call sheet. I think that's who sets the tone for how everything acts. And when I say that, I mean the top billing actor on there a lot of times sets the tone for how set is going to work. And I have seen some really awful number ones who
Yeah.
behave really inappropriately and have come up messed up on set, and nothing comes from it. And I've seen other people who are consummate professionals, and unfortunately their shows get canceled.
Wow.
I just think it really does come down to, I never need to know what anyone's prescribed or anything. That's somebody else's business.
Yep.
Right,
It comes
right,
down
right,
to, are you able to do your job? And are you able to remain respectful of everyone on the crew? Because for me, medical marijuana isn't as much of an issue as people coming on set very, very drunk.
Yeah, of course.
Because that then, lowers your inhibitions
Yep,
and maybe makes you
there
say
is.
some things to your coworkers and things like that. So
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm speaking from a purely safety perspective.
Yeah.
If somebody trips and falls, they trip over an electrical cord. I mean, a movie set is a place where you have to be keenly aware of what's going on at all times. You're not, even in here. Let's say somebody bumped into one of our lights. These are big lights.
Yeah.
And you can't see them, but the lights that are shining on us right now are quite sizable. And if somebody tripped over one and fell and it landed on someone else, people can get hurt.
yeah.
But the question was about medical marijuana,
Yeah.
which means it's prescription. It's not like somebody's an addict.
Yeah.
They're using it for a reason. And that's something you just have to be aware of.
Yeah. As long as their medical reason isn't, I'm not high enough,
Right.
I'm fine with this.
And that should apply to any work field you are. You should always feel
Absolutely.
safe, and she should never be at the risk of someone else's whatever it is that
Exactly. And
Yeah.
that goes down to people's behavior when they're under the influence, people's behavior just on a regular day. If people are abusive on set or toxic around set and volatile, you should always feel safe where you're working.
Always. And that goes for everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone from a PA to the caterer to the producers to whomever's on a set.
Absolutely. Every single individual.
It's a good question, though.
Yeah.
Sam Fisher says, my partner kicked me out of the house because of my bad Arnold Schwarzenegger impression, but don't worry, I'll return.
He ain't
Okay,
return
well-
until he gets that one right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta.
do
It's
it.
I'll be back. Come on, Sam.
But therein lies the joke.
I think there you go.
That was the joke.
That was the joke, which I just killed. Adam Henson said, would Obi-Wan have been better if it was him completing Reva's training in a way to cope with his survivor's guilt, bring Reva back to the light, and feel like he didn't fail and gain his confidence back? I mean, maybe but then the story would have been Reva's story. I mean,
And we don't have time for that story.
right. Not in 6 episodes.
That's my bigger issue that we, touched upon yesterday was like, I would love to dive into why Reva feels their path is just and makes sense. Even if it's not for redemption, right? Even if it's just, no, I was wronged and now I get to behave this way and that's how I'm doing things. Just give me more of that explanation. Let me see more of it too, instead of just telling me very quickly. There's a lot of tell instead of show in this series.
Yes.
And that's a problem for me.
Well, I feel the whole Reva storyline is a story unto itself.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Inquisitors, Star Wars, the Inquisitors, and
Yeah.
tell that story. Because she has a story. I mean, and what's really interesting is if you remember how this story began, it began with her. It began with the slaughter, the Order 66 slaughter of the Jedi Temple. So really, this story is not really about Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's about Reva.
Yeah.
And while I don't have a problem with a story about a female Inquisitor, that's not what this show is, or at least it's what it is and wasn't sold to us that way.
Mm-hmm.
Because what does Reva's story have to do with Obi-Wan Kenobi's story, other than the fact that it was Reva who had Leia kidnapped that brought
Yeah.
Kenobi into this story? So from a storytelling perspective, it started out where we saw Kenobi, but this story, the instigator of it has been Reva, and
Yeah.
she's been the driving engine of this tale. And I feel that that's what I've been most disappointed by.
For sure. And I think the heart of the story that we all were hoping and right, expectation versus speculation, all that good stuff. But I think what we all were assuming was going to happen, given the casting, was we were really diving into Anakin and Obi-Wan. And we've gotten little tastes of that. But again, give me more. That's what I
Right.
want. But hey, they didn't ask me to write the show, so I can armchair this all I want.
I mean, what I find really interesting, and I don't know why this isn't so obvious, but the last 10 years, you have one man who's lost everything, who's ascendant, Vader, and another man who also lost everything and who isn't ascendant and who's now, cutting scraps of meat for a space donkey.
Yeah.
And the differences of their lives and where they've come and gone and where they're going. That's all I needed. There's a fascinating tale and you juxtapose the two of them and you head them off, or you put them on a track to finally meet one another. We've already even had them meet in the middle of the show. Mm-hmm. Like I would have saved that conflict or that for the final,
Yeah.
Confrontation. And it's such a strange thing to me that there's all this other stuff going on that the Inquisitors, what do they have to do with the story of Obi-Wan and Anakin? Mm-hmm. Reva's got her own tale.
Yeah.
Literally her own motivation. Anyway.
Oh, Andres actually sums this up really nicely. Reva's important because she is a mirror and person representing Obi-Wan's guilt because she was a child, and she pointed out that he could have prevented the other children's death, which I totally understand that. But again, we were told that factoid, right?
But you think he doesn't already feel that?
Yeah.
Like we don't need someone to tell us this.
And there's a beautiful moment between them of just their facial expressions, right? Where they're not even looking at each other. It's through the door, and it's a beautifully acted moment. And it's things like that where I just want more of those kinds of moments of I know this sounds ridiculous. Don't tell me about how guilty he should feel. Show me these things. Show me how that manifests in his choices and his actions and everything. And show that to me too for Reva of giving me a little more nuance on why she hates both of these men. And if it is, I hate all Jedi and I'm going to take them all out, great. But I need more than 6 episodes to have that story really resonate.
And again, make that story her story.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us an Inquisitor story. Whereas, I mean, the what Anakin and Obi-Wan are, that is the tale.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's what's been most underdeveloped for me.
Yeah.
At least in the series.
They need to call it Reva McEntire Read My Mind.
Yes.
And if you look up Reba McEntire albums, you'll understand why that's
You'll see that was a banger joke.
Yeah.
King Ricardo says, new Eminem song just came out for the new Elvis movie. Ooh. I would highly recommend listening to it after the show. It's a banger. Wow. Love you guys as always. You know, I saw Austin Butler on Jimmy Fallon last night. It was great.
Oh, nice.
That guy's going to be a huge star.
I'm interested in an Eminem Elvis track.
Yeah,
that does.
That
moves the needle.
No one can mix and match their musical eras more than Baz Luhrmann can.
Yeah,
I do love that. Sam Fisher says, if Glass Onion doesn't play the Beatles song, I'm a effing chimp. Also, wouldn't The Glass Onion make more sense? It's a thing, not an action. Well, I think we have to see the movie, but I would imagine if they're going to call it The Glass Onion or Glass Onion, they've got to name check the Beatles in some way. Sure. Remember, by the way, putting a Beatles song in a movie is really expensive.
I couldn't believe when Mad Men used a Beatles song. I was like, wow,
yeah.
And it was a few seasons into Mad Men, but I was like, oh, they just dropped some coin for this end credits Beatles song.
Unless, of course, the artist actually likes what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can get that. Because when I was making my own film, Free Enterprise, I had to meet one of my heroes. I had to meet Ian Astbury, the lead singer of The Cult. Because I wanted the song "She Sells Sanctuary," and he said, "I'm not. It doesn't matter how much you pay me.
Yeah.
You have to come in and meet with me and tell me why you want this particular song." And I talked to him for like 2 hours, and he let me have it.
I feel like Paul McCartney probably isn't that generous with his music. I'm sure he's like, you like my songs? Well,
I don't.
Guess you got to give me some money.
I don't know, man. Everyone likes Mad Men.
That's fair, but
you give him some money, but maybe not as much.
For Knives Out,
does Paul have the rights? Does he buy them back? Because Michael Jackson owned them in that estate, but then I don't know who owns Beatles
I'm not
music
sure.
anymore.
They're getting paid no matter what.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Someone's getting paid.
Someone is.
not me.
Gregory Barrett says, Obi-Wan series not about survivor's guilt. It's about a defeated warrior getting up off the floor and getting back in the fight. You have to let your speculations become expectations. Cheers, mates.
That's fair, Gregory. My husband has a very similar view. He is very pro Obi-Wan. He's somebody where I came home, he's like, you and Rob were very hard on it, and I would like to talk to you about why I think this show deserves a second chance. And I was like, this is exactly what I want to do, Logan. Thank you so much.
Look.
But it's different people's opinions.
I mean,
right? I totally get that.
I would say that would be the theme of the show, but what they've shown us plot-wise has not entirely supported that view.
It's a little 1 foot in one zone, 1 foot in the other right now.
Yeah.
Again, for us, that's how it feels, but obviously you don't feel that way.
Yeah, I mean, look, and I understand that.
Yeah.
I just think if that's the story you're going to tell, they could have. There are better examples to point to in cinematic history and go, let's follow that example.
Yeah. Oh, I loved your example yesterday of The Bodyguard. That narrative is a great one to follow. If you guys haven't seen The Bodyguard, oh my gosh.
Just Bodyguard.
Oh, Bodyguard. Yes.
The Bodyguard. Whitney Houston. And Kevin Costner.
But Bodyguard is it's so good. And a nice tight 6 episodes that does storytelling really, really well.
Yep. But I mean, the idea of a warrior getting back in the fight, absolutely.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is, he's not supposed to get back in the fight. He's supposed to make sure Luke is
safe.
And he's not becoming another warrior. And that's the thing. If he was supposed to be a reluctant warrior, that becomes a warrior again. But that's not the job, and that's not what happens to him that we know because of Star Wars. So, Film Code Podcast says, wanted to ask, who do you think won the streaming wars last year, and who do you think is winning this year so far?
Ooh, what a
good
great question. I mean, I think Apple TV is on the up and up. I think they're doing really, really great stuff. Ted Lasso, Severance, their films.
They won the Academy Award for Coda.
Best Picture, yeah. So I think Apple TV is the one that's kind of taken the mantle. This year, though, because we have Amazon with The Boys and the Lord of the Rings series coming up, maybe they could take the cake. Maybe it's HBO. I don't know.
Or if you go by stock price, Netflix is not winning.
That's very true. We all know Netflix is down here.
I mean, it really depends what your metrics are.
Yeah.
But to me, what I really like about like what you said about Apple Plus is I think that there's a pedigree and a level of quality there, even though we're not getting nearly the volume that Netflix is providing for us. I think what really comes down to it from my perspective is which streaming series has the things that you most want to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And Apple just doesn't have as many shows. But I dearly love For All Mankind. I think it's one of the great science fiction shows of all time.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that show alone is worth 50 Netflix shows.
Severance. I even liked Invasion. I think Apple won it for me last year, and it's winning this year just because of what I like stuff on other streaming platforms.
Me too.
But I love the stuff that Apple's doing.
Well, and it's one of the most cost effective. It's one of the lower price points on there.
Yeah.
I don't mind buying things in Apple Plus for some reason too, where I'm just like, oh, this is a fine place to keep my media that I'm downloading and paying for. That's fine.
Yep.
And because it is so much more quality over quantity, I also don't have the issue of going on to a Netflix when something like Stranger Things isn't on anymore or something like that and going, well, what the fuck do I watch on here? Because it's an embarrassment of riches in theory, right?
Yes.
But so much of it is, what's good on here?
And I think per capita, there's a lot more in terms of the amount of shows that exist on the streaming services. I think the original Apple Plus shows have a much higher percentage of I need to watch those
Absolutely.
than other shows.
Mm-hmm.
So it depends on your metric. If you're just talking about money or stock price, it's different.
Yeah.
But I think we're all in agreement. We love Apple.
Apple. And it's all over the place too in terms of genre, because you've got things like Ted Lasso, like Mythic Quest. all
Even
that.
their show Suspicion that other reviewers didn't like, it's a handsomely made show with
I'm
interesting
excited to
act.
get-
I liked it.
I'm excited to watch
I
it.
want Apple to get more into like the documentary game. I hope they start pumping those out in the Apple.
Yeah, they
sort of
don't
way.
really.
That'd be fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's an interesting point.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Netflix constantly drops. I watched one this morning.
About everything.
Another lurid documentary about some crazy criminal guy with a young daughter that disappeared or some
Oh,
craziness.
yeah.
The girl
They're
in the
deep into the true crime.
yeah,
Oof.
and the more lurid, the better.
Yeah.
So that's good. Calvin Patel says, on the topic of AT, I love this, ATLA,
Yeah.
The Last Airbender, Amber Mid-Thunder, star of Prey 2022, is being cast as Princess, is it Yui?
UA.
UA for Netflix's live action series.
Ooh, okay.
I like that
I
casting.
think that's very fun
I think
casting.
she looks the part.
Yeah, because Princess Yue, for those of you who don't know too, she comes from one of the other water tribes, and she eventually becomes the moon spirit, essentially. Is Sokka's love interest for a minute too. That's really fun casting. I like that a lot.
Yeah, it's good. That's good. I can't wait to see that movie.
Oh my gosh.
It looks good.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch it in Comanche.
Yeah, that's going to be amazing.
The robo producer sends in a super chat and says, going back through the old Tom Cruise X and rewatch Jack Reacher, I think it's a splendid film and very underrated. Thoughts? Well, the first Jack Reacher, based on the
novels.
obviously the novels, was written and directed by Chris McQuarrie, who's done the last three Mission Impossible. Well, he did Rogue Nation, Fallout. He did Mission Impossible. He did what is it called? Dead Reckoning Part 1.
Yeah.
So he directed that. Now they're doing Dead Reckoning Part 2. So that was the first film that he directed Tom Cruise in. The first time they worked together was on Valkyrie, which McQuarrie wrote. So I really like Jack Reacher. I mean, Tom Cruise is not a giant 6'5" monster of a man.
Yeah.
So they had to, but it's Lee Child. I think they channeled the spirit of Lee Child's Jack Reacher, maybe not the stature.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment.
Pretty good, right?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Avi P says Disney should add VidAngel so teens can watch our movies like we used to in the 90s. I watched Demolition Man Filtered, then Punisher, etc. is GTG. Good to go. I think that VidAngel, first of all, Do we really want to go back to when you're flipping channels just to get a little glimpse of an R-rated movie or even more or something?
I'm always confused by this of the like I got to watch a staticky boob.
Yeah, I mean, you can. I mean, I'm not going to say which sites I frequent, but I'm just saying that on the internet, there's a whole lot to see. So why would we want to go back? And it's standard def, no less.
It is so easy to see high quality smut these days. Come on, guys.
Oh, and a myriad of it.
Yeah.
I mean, my God.
There's something for everyone.
I'm telling you, like
The world is your oyster.
It's different now.
Yeah.
it is different.
I'm at the hold on. I'm at the production machine right now because
You have the whole world in your hands now,
Yeah.
Ray.
Yeah.
There you go.
So I'm gonna switch back to my chair because I just saw a member chat and Jonathan's about to take back over for me. Let's
Look
get
at this.
back
Now we're
to the
gonna
super
we're gonna
chat.
see people changing chairs. That is some behind the scenes goodness right
Ooh,
there.
Very, very nice.
Jay Bling says, "Dear Ezra Miller, there are other ways to say you don't want to work in Hollywood anymore. Like, just say you don't want to work in Hollywood anymore."
It is that simple, Jay. It really is. If you don't want to do this, don't do this. And you don't have to harm other people. But, I mean, everyone's on their own journey. Everyone's going through something.
Self-immolation is what I'm thinking
Yeah.
here. It's ooh.
If you want to change careers, maybe don't have so many casualties in your wake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was more added today.
Ooh.
Yeah. I know.
Let me read this one out real quick.
Absolutely.
Just because I caught it, Philly G. He just sent a sticker for $10. Thank you, Philly G.
Thanks, Billy.
Thanks, Philly.
And Brian Williams, who's at actor level, member for 3 months, says, "Hey Rob, recently saw the original Star Trek box set on VHS. What are your thoughts on VHS collectibles? Too outdated? Thanks. Take care."
Here are my thoughts about VHS. I worked in home video, when I was 13 years old, and I hated VHS then. And I hated VHS because we had our video standard, the NTSC video standard that we had in America when we adopted television, was garbage. It was worse than PAL and it was worse than CCAM, which are other television standards. So our picture quality on VHS sucked. That said, there were some amazing, especially horror films, lots of big box sets on VHS. There's a reason why VHS was a celebrated format, especially amongst horror and sci-fi fans, because a lot of great artwork, a lot of great packaging that's worth collecting. So if you want something as an artifact that you can put up on your wall or put up on a shelf, because I do, I've got artifacts of things. As a matter of fact, you know what I did the other day? I found an awesome frame. It's like an LP frame you can put 2 records in. A jukebox frame is like $150 off Amazon, and I put my free Enterprise Laserdisc, which I had never opened, an unopened free Enterprise Laserdisc. So I took the sleeve and then I took the 2 discs and put it in the frame and hung it on the wall of our new domicile.
I love that.
And Laserdiscs, I loved them in the day, but they're terrible. It's NTSC video. But suddenly I have a piece of art hanging on the wall. So
cool.
I think if you're going to use it as an artifact, great. If you want to watch Star Trek, get the new Blu-rays.
Nice. What's next?
How about that? Tim Platt says, "Glad I decided to give Miss Marvel a shot. Even though I had my doubts initially, I am all aboard." No.
Yes, Tim. Yeah. Well, and this is why we always give something a good old college try before we cast too much judgment on it. If a show's for you, awesome. If it's not for you, no worries too. There's so many things streaming right now. I mean, all of us on this show, despite how well we get along, sometimes we have very different tastes too.
Very different tastes.
I'm glad it's working out for you though, Tim, and I'm really glad you gave it a shot. I'm really excited about this
It's
show.
delightful.
It's real precious.
And can't we all appreciate? Because me too am like picky about what I watch. Like, and for someone to show me something or to give something a try that you don't think you'll like and like it, that feeling is like great to me. I think it's an awesome thing.
Yeah.
So
I
I
agree.
agree with that. I love that.
good for you, Tim. Good
Yeah.
job.
Mickey Veach says, "This Pop-Tart movie could be the Ford v Ferrari of food movies."
Oh yeah.
You know what, though? I would love that if that were the case.
I wouldn't be mad about it.
I mean, can you imagine the manufacturing of Pop-Tarts looking like Le Mans?
Ooh, into it.
Could
We
be
also
good.
have one too from Al Renshaw about Pop-Tarts.
Oh, did I miss that one? Al
okay.
Renshaw says, "We all know the s'mores Pop-Tart is the best
Yes,
flavor."
Al, you know what's up. is the best. And that's why you have to heat it up too. Otherwise, it loses its s'more like nostalgia.
Yeah, see, the thing about s'mores, whenever somebody tries to translate a s'more is this, and this is all it is. It's a graham cracker,
Yes.
it's chocolate, and it's a marshmallow.
Yeah.
When you translate a s'more into another format, like a Pop-Tart, it's no longer a s'more.
But it gives you the same notes and
And
flavors.
I also have a problem
You can't burn, though. You can't get the... I love to burn my marshmallows.
I could set a
artificially-
Pop-Tart on fire.
Also, it's artificially flavored to taste like those three things that Rob just mentioned, as opposed to those three things.
Which are artificial?
No. Chocolate is chocolate.
I mean, usually
Graham
you're
crackers
using
are
like
graham crackers.
Usually you're using a Hershey bar, and those Stay Puft marshmallows, they got a lot of shit in them, kids.
Oh,
Yeah, but it's not. You're not taking chemicals to mimic that. It just is that. So
That's fair.
well, let Chris.
That
like
I
a
can't
s'more.
believe I never thought about s'mores being an existential question.
Man. There was a really great place at a bar called Halcyon in Austin that I used to go to all the time, and you would get little tableside s'mores, and it was one of my favorite dates to go on.
And I bet they were real s'mores.
They were real s'mores, and you got to cook them over a fire right there.
Did you judge people about how they cooked their marshmallows?
I mean, to each their own. I know a lot of people like to burn them.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not of that camp. That's not my jam, but if that's
What?
yours, that's fine.
Look,
You're a
if-
marshmallow burner?
Well, I mean, if it accidentally burns, I'll still
I'll
eat
char
it.
it, but I don't want it to come out looking like a piece of charcoal.
Yeah, but
I
getting the
love that
perfect
char.
golden brown marshmallow, getting that crispy outside and that
Ain't no
just
time for that,
luscious
Rob.
inside.
Ooh, man, one time I was in Yosemite as a kid, and we had just told the kid next to us to stop trying to wave the flame out. You got to blow the flame out on the marshmallow. And on fire, it stuck to my knee and gave me like a really bad burn. That is a little throwback to
Sorry
my
about that, John.
childhood. My knee burning from a burning marshmallow. Okay.
Oh, no. The trauma. What else do
We're
we
still
have?
talking about it to
Yeah.
this day. Dr. J. Dr. J says, "Hey, Team Campea." Wait a minute. We're the Batman Beyond
We're
team.
the Batman Beyond team.
Which sci-fi TV or movie franchise does the best depiction of NPN non-person humanoid alien life forms in your opinion? Love today's show.
Oh, thanks, Jay.
That's a great question.
That is a fantastic
non-humanoid life
question.
forms.
Ooh.
Is there any? Oh yeah, there's some choices there.
Okay.
I mean, there's tons of stuff. I really like all the
I mean, I
aliens
just
in
watched.
Titan
I just
AE.
mentioned Invasion has.
Yeah,
that,
I'm
right?
trying to
But
think
Titan
of live
AE is
action.
not a TV show.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of live action. I think the Orville does a really great job, actually.
They
of
do.
doing aliens. I love that, especially because so many of them are practical. I don't know. What about you?
South
Rob?
Park did a pretty good job. When
The animation always nails it out of the park, but but live action.
I mean, here's my thing about alien life forms on television shows. Unfortunately, they're locked into the humanoid species because, after all, we have to play them. And if you want to have them non-humanoid, like Norm Macdonald's Blob character in what's his name in Orville, if you want to do that, it's expensive. It's CG. So to me, when you're locked into the humanoid form, which we are for the most part, up until fairly recently,
Yeah.
you have to go back to the philosophy of aliens, meaning what aliens are different than, what are the most different kinds of aliens that human beings are? That they don't act like human beings, even though they're humanoid, but they don't act like us. That's where I would, that would be my criteria to go. And to be honest, I don't have an answer.
I will say that as like when the aliens showed up in Halo, anytime they did, it was like my favorite parts of the show. So I don't know if you would consider those aliens like the aliens they had as a part
Sure.
of the show. But yeah. So they did the alien thing whenever they came down. Most likely it was going to be something they were battling over something, but it looked really good, for a TV show, I thought.
I mean, I read a lot of science fiction in my life, and I've read a lot of science, and still do. I would love to see a depiction of a truly alien species on a show, an ongoing character that is wildly different, not locked into a humanoid lifespan, can do different things, and I don't know what that would be,
Yeah, me either.
and I haven't seen that yet, but I mean, I think a lot of different science fiction shows have had great depictions of aliens.
Yeah.
But they've all been humanoid.
Humanoid, yeah.
So it's hard to do it. I don't know if that's a non-answer.
Yeah.
Do we not answer that one? But Sam Fisher says, odds the leader and Betty Ross are in She-Hulk.
I don't know if we're going to see Betty Ross unless we recast, because I don't see Liv Tyler coming back.
No, I mean, I could see somebody else coming back,
Yeah.
although she might.
She might.
I mean, the leader, maybe. I think we're going to see. I think there's going to be a lot of cameos in She-Hulk
yeah.
because of the fourth wall breaking nature of what they're trying to adapt. So I wouldn't be surprised. I think She-Hulk is going to be delightfully surprising in that arena. I would imagine, just because based on the runs of the various comics and the way they want to do it, if they're going to break the fourth wall. All I know is that a friend of mine told me they actually filmed at Marvel's offices.
Ooh.
And Marvel was standing in for Marvel.
That's awesome.
So I'm like, okay, anything's going to go in this show. Christian 301291 sends in a super chat and says, Batman Beyond, a John Campea show story. Without John Campea, let's make it happen. We are making it happen all this week, right here on the John Campea YouTube channel. Also watched Queen's Gambit for the first time. It was amazing. Yes,
Ooh,
Christian, it is amazing.
Yeah.
I'm glad you like that. By the way, Walter Tevis, who wrote the novel The Queen's Gambit, also wrote The Man Who Fell to Earth, wrote The Hustler, wrote The Color of Money. He wrote a book called Mockingbird that has been announced. I hope they make it into a movie. I'm a big fan of his, so check out all of the movies based on Walter Tevis's work.
Yeah.
I just came up with the best idea, and this would probably get John back into the studio. Let's announce all next week. We'll call it Batman Beyond Celebration Week.
Yes.
And every episode, one of us talks about our favorite episode of Batman Beyond.
Oh.
Can we do that?
I would.
I think you just did.
John's actually calling me right now. So
Is he really?
Let's
No,
do something like that.
I would love
You know
that.
what I mean?
It's Batman Beyond Week on the John Campea
Yeah.
Maybe
Show.
just a little part where we say our part of why we would want a Batman Beyond film now, not later, not.
You know, we should call it, why not go for broke and call up David Zaslav and say, look,
There we
man,
go.
we talk about your sword all the time. How about having it cut the way of a
We
Batman
talk
Beyond
about his
movie?
axe. You talking about his sword is what you
yeah.
do off
Yeah,
camera.
yeah. Stop dreaming about
His
the
axe.
sword. His axe, baby.
Oh, could we call it Shui Week? That would make me very happy.
But yes, I expect John to be back, maybe even tomorrow now.
We'll see.
Yeah.
He'll miraculously recover.
He's watching right now going, Raymond Verada says, after the blonde teaser, any Ana de Armas hot toy, you mean more than she herself? I don't know if they're ever going to make one. I do have a six scale Joy figure from Batman 2049 of
Ooh.
Ana de Armas, and it's pretty good.
Very nice.
Pretty good with rooted hair.
Oh.
It's a third party figure, so it's not officially licensed, but it's a good Joy figure.
Nice. All right.
Luis Enrique de la Peña sends in another super chat and says, anime recommendations of this week. Komi-san Can't Communicate. It's charming and cute.
Oh, okay. I'm so behind on all of my anime because we've got a lot of stuff to watch for this show.
Yeah,
so-
it's
I
hard.
have-
Hard to keep up.
Yeah.
Hard to keep up. JSW 11984 says, or JSW1 from 1984 says, what do you guys think about a what if for Star Wars? Like if Vader has no suit, Anakin didn't turn, or one of the best theories ever, Darth Jar Jar.
Someone wrote this in for the after show yesterday about a what if, and I love that idea. I would love to have some non-canonical, aside from Obi-Wan, some non-canonical little one-offs about, hey, if this happened and how that would play out. Because I do love the idea of playing around with Darth Jar Jar and having him be a Sith Lord. I love the idea of playing around with Anakin taking a different path. I think that's really, really interesting.
I think you're right. I mean, I'd love to see Jaxon and the Hoojibs from the Marvel Comics Star Wars
Ooh,
to be made canonical in live action or animated.
that'd be rad.
No, I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
I think there's some precedent to that because I think in the Vader comic that came out a few years ago, when he was meditating on the gem for his lightsaber to bleed it red, he had like a what if moment of like after everything happens, after Order 66 and all that stuff, he sees the errors of his way, and he actually kind of repents from that. He goes back and kills the Emperor, and and rights whatever wrongs
That'd
he
be
can
cool.
at least, you know.
Yeah.
So there is some precedent there for like, oh, what if this kind of took this turn or whatever? So that'd be cool.
Ooh, I like that.
I like
It's
that too.
It's a very Donna Noble turn left.
I like that.
Yeah.
Sliding doors. Jedediah Elias says, I want to reiterate what Josh said earlier. Got to see Cha Cha Real Smooth at Sundance this year, and I loved it. Best of 2022, streaming tomorrow on Apple TV. Well, Jedediah, you're not the only one. Everyone has been talking, and of course the director, and I forget his name, who stars in the movie, is one of the hottest things in Hollywood now. He's set up his new movie. He's a true auteur, starring, and he's maybe the new Woody Allen, who knows? Maybe the new Orson Welles, starring and directing his own material. I don't know, but the movie, I thought it looked charming. I love the
I
trailer.
think it looks adorable. I'm so excited about it. And again, Apple TV.
Apple
crushing it.
TV picking it up. They knew what's up. They knew what's going on. Sam Fisher says, when is the Miss Marvel after show?
That's a great question. So usually John does that, and John is obviously very, very sick. And as of yesterday, I was the only one who fully got to watch the show because we have a lot of other stuff going on here too, guys. As y'all know, I'm usually not here this much, frankly. I've got classes and auditions and things. And so the after show would have been just me, which maybe we could have done, but it's John's thing, and I haven't hosted my own after show, just me, before, so
You could do it.
I think I could.
Yeah, but I'm thinking, you know what? He's just gonna group those episodes together when he's better again, and then
Yeah.
you guys will just have a lot more to talk about. You know, sometimes I think these after shows, we need to give them 1 or 2 episodes to get like, you know, because sometimes something doesn't happen in an episode, and then we do an after show, and there's like, you know, so maybe this will help to have like maybe 2 episodes on the next after show to talk about. I don't know.
I think that's a pretty great idea, though, Ray, because this one definitely was a setup episode, right? Of, like,
Yeah.
we're exploring some things, but we are building to a probably bigger threat in the show or some kind of, you know, plot issue here. So I think combining the two will be fine. But hopefully John will be back soon to do these. If not, in the future, we'll plan this out to have, you know, one of us jump in.
The Flounder Pounder sends in a super chat and says, I've got to say, I am not enjoying Miss Marvel. I think I'm tapping out. On the other hand, I cannot wait for the boys tonight. Game day!
Game day! Oh, well, the Flounder Pounder. What a great name.
Man, why do I see a fish sandwich in my head right now?
I immediately went to fillet of fish.
Yeah,
If you're Catholic, like that's what your brain
Which
goes
is
to.
the craziest, best, worst fish sandwich?
No, it's
you can
good. Just
Yeah.
we're moving on. It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. I'm a
good.
fan of it.
get. Oh, you like it too? Jeff?
Yes.
I
Filet of
that
fish?
was the
Filet of
only
fish?
like
What a tangent.
joy in my life on Fridays when I couldn't eat meat, where I'd be like, oh, I get a fillet of fish. That's fine.
Rob, filet of fish? Yay or nay?
Look, I love fish. I grew up in
Okay.
Seattle. I'll eat pretty much any seafood.
Let's go.
Yay, fillet
Give
of
it to me
fish.
raw.
Fabulous for
you
fish
know,
fillets.
fish fillets, anything. But I think back to our viewers' question in super chat. I can understand that. You know, some people are not going to like. Look, if you're not predisposed to liking all things, I mean, you're watching Miss Marvel. I can understand not digging it. You know, it's just and wanting to watch the boys. Very different experience. So there's
gonna say,
no problem with that.
It's a very different kind of superhero show. I love both of these shows
Yeah.
for very different reasons, but I totally get that. And again, we're never going to tell you your opinion is wrong. You have
Well,
to like the thing that we might tell you
just
your
kidding.
opinions are wrong. But, you know, everyone's entitled to feel how they want about things. And
Yeah.
not every show is made for every single viewer. That'd be an impossible feat. I mean, it's just like people in general, right? In life, at minimum, 10% of the people you meet are not going to like you for no other reason aside from like you just don't mesh. And I think that's with television as well. There's going to just be certain shows that go, that's not for me. And that's okay.
Yeah, sometimes, I mean, to half our audience, I come off as an unbelievable douchebag. So it doesn't matter. I can understand why people might not. I'm not their taste. What can I say?
You know who's not going to be at the Miss Marvel after show? Flounder Pounder.
Yeah.
Well-
yeah. Flounder Pounder won't be tuning in, but that's okay.
But he'll be watching us tomorrow on
for
the Boys After Show.
because we will be doing one of those again.
Yes,
That'll
we
be very,
will.
Very fun.
We will. Jacob Hirsch says, Rob, where can I pre-order the Lightyear hot toy? Well, it depends where you go. But in North America, the North American distributor of hot toys is Sideshow Toy. They have many good things, Sideshow Toy. Or you can go to many other different distributors around the world, such as places like Toys Wonderland, Giant Toys. There's many places, 1/6 Outfitters. I mean, Just you got to find your favorite retailer. Monkey Depot is another one.
Do that one. That's the best name.
I love Monkey Depot. I've been buying from Monkey Depot for years.
Oh,
Me too.
I love Monkey Depot. They've never let me down. And if they are going to let me down, they tell me they're like, sorry, we can't get this or whatever. It might take them a long time to get what you need, but they'll get it. They'll get it to you.
Oh, yeah. You know what's great about the animated Hot Toys? Like, you know, how good they are with the real people. Their animation ones like Alita, Spider-Gwen, and probably this Buzz are all going to look like they came off the screen.
Oh, yeah, man. Their figure's great. That Spider-Gwen figure, you know, Anne Campea did a great job of posing her. You know, posing is half the fun. She did a great job of posing her Spider-Gwen figure.
Mm-hmm.
And she asked me for help. And then I walked in there, I was like, what?
Oh, that's
I
great.
didn't do anything with it.
Okay, good. Because if you're about to take credit for Anne's posing,
no,
I'd be
no.
like, great for a man to take credit for a woman's work.
No.
Yeah, Ray.
Come on, dude. But as long as you just recognize her greatness in
Oh, yeah,
posing.
I
Because I was trying to throw her a compliment.
U-turn. She's like, can you help me pose this? I was like, what's wrong with it? I made a U-turn and left the room.
Nice. Well done, Anne
cookies.
Campea.
Well done. All right, what's
You're not a
next?
poser. You're a poser.
Ooh, well done.
Cali Royale 92 says Kylo Ren versus Darth Maul. Who wins? Darth Maul.
Yep. Right here, baby. Even baby
I mean, if they're both alive at the same time, then yes.
It's true. Yeah,
I'm
it's
saying
true.
just because of the
I actually
timeline.
think so. Okay, I think Darth Maul would win if they were both on the dark side because Kylo was so conflicted. He didn't know what was up, what was down. But I actually think Kylo as a Jedi would stand up to Darth Maul. He's got he's got the Skywalker blood, and a focused Kylo Ren as a Jedi could have taken out Darth Maul.
Oh, yeah.
That's a fair assessment.
But
I like
not
that.
too cis. Darth
Yeah.
Maul would win.
All right.
Yeah.
I can't argue with that. That's a very
right, you
logically
can't because
well
I'll just
done
mute you.
logical argument.
Is that what you're going to start doing now on the
That is
show?
the way to win any argument if
This
you're a
opinion's
producer.
bullshit. All right.
I wouldn't mute you, Rob.
Can't say no to that. Al Renshaw says, I personally see nothing wrong with an NC-17 rating for Blonde. If the true story is that graphic and warrants it, then go ahead. Well, here's the thing. I don't think it has to be graphic to be NC-17. It's what the subject matter can
Yeah,
also
yeah,
be an
definitely.
NC.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to see lurid, horrible physical
No,
abuse.
it could mean a whole myriad of things. The concern is that it's taking some of those horrible things that happened and really, really showing us
Yes.
so much of that. And then at that point, does it become, an exploitative thing, or is it too much, or is it being shocking for the sake of being shocking as opposed to truthful storytelling?
Yeah.
Which none of us can say whether or not that's the case until we see the film.
It's true. It's true. Slice of Brie is here again.
Yay!
So I read the Hero-gasm storyline.
How'd that go, Brie?
Yeah, Brie, how'd you like that?
Were you reading it in public? Did you feel a little weird? Man, those panels are bananas. I can't wait to see what they do with this.
I'm still trying to
that
check
tonight?
off things in my own life that I saw in those panels.
Tonight,
Do you guys think that angle is coming out tonight?
no,
Or are
tonight,
they going to do that?
Tonight we're getting musical
Yeah, I
stuff.
think tonight we're
okay.
Musical boys.
we're getting Paul Reiser, I think, tonight too.
Yes, I love Full Razor. I think Hero-gasm's probably going to be another few episodes. We can check on IMDb.
There's
too. I'm
only
sure that's-
there's only
Oh,
3
that
more
happened
episodes
listed
after
already.
They
tonight.
usually put the episode titles
Okay.
out.
Yeah. Yes. I feel like I should be a concerned father for Brie. Like, honey, it's going to be okay.
It's all right.
It's okay.
I felt that way the first time a friend of mine was like, so I read Lost Girls. And I was like, oh.
By the way,
Oh.
I have a beautiful. Do you have the beautiful hardcover slipcase
I
edition?
bought it for a friend for her birthday because her birthday is the same as his birthday.
I have that book.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
It's gorgeous.
It's gorgeous. But if you go into it thinking these are going to be sweet little fairy tales, and you go, no.
Well, they kind of
No, no,
are,
no.
depending on your
Well,
point
that's
of view.
true, but it's a sweet little fairy tale. It's all about Alan Moore. Enjoy. Well, Brie, I hope you got through it. Hope you got through those panels.
Wow. And you're not too traumatized.
Yeah.
You'll wake up in a cold sweat in a month. Hero-gasm. Walter White Walker sends in a super chat and says, this reminds me of the history show, The Foods That Made America.
That's the show. That's what it's called. Thank
Yeah.
you, Walter White Walker.
Every episode feels like it could make a great movie. Mm-hmm. Gotta love that. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with our esteemed
do.
colleague. Cali Royal 92 says, turn 30 on Sunday. Well, that's good that you're still here because the Sandmen from Logan's Run didn't come shoot you down on your last day.
Whoa.
People are like, what does that mean? I know.
Logan's Run.
Logan's Run, 1976. Check it out.
That's the litmus test for Logan's name. He understands how old people are when they go, Logan like the Wolverine or Logan like Logan's Run.
Well, yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
I like that. Wait, bring that back.
Yeah.
Turn 30 on Sunday, and the only thing missing was you guys.
Oh.
We're always with you, Callie. Love the show. This community is so welcoming. Stranger Things Season 4, Part 2 Theories.
Ooh. First of all, I would really like Aaron to be on like a theory speculation episode if that's possible, because Erin's so in on Stranger Things.
Yeah,
It's one of
she's all
her
in
like
on that.
yeah, that is her fandom. So I'd love to have her talk about all of that. But man, we've left off in a very interesting place.
Very interesting place. I mean, I don't know if I have any theories.
Yeah. Well, and we especially I don't think have time really right now to go
Yeah.
through all
Yeah.
the minutia of what we think will happen, but you know, Nancy's still in the Upside Down. We've learned about who Vecna is. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on there. If they do anything to Eddie Munson, I will lose my goddamn mind. He is a treasure, and he must be protected at all costs.
He probably will be.
I love that cinnamon bun.
And also, anytime where you're actually thinking about the next part or the theories for what's going to happen, you know you're into a show. So,
Yeah.
you know.
They
well
did a
done.
great job with
well
this
done,
season.
Stranger
Yeah.
Things. You got her or him in.
Well done.
It's true. Mm-hmm. Luis Enrique de la Peña says, favorite Mexican dish or taco filling?
Ooh. I like barbacoa a lot. I'm a fan of that, or a chile relleno if I'm getting a dish.
I love mole. A really great. There was actually the most creatively titled Mexican restaurant in Los Feliz called Mexico City,
Nice.
What is it, John?
and they made handmade. They made fresh mole every day.
Ooh.
It was, and I like it over chicken enchiladas. It's so good. I mean, a good mole, and that's a hard thing to get quite right because it has to be not just chocolatey. It's also got to be the right spiciness.
Yeah.
Rob,
And
here's
it-
the LA question for Mexican food. Have you ever eaten at Gardens of Texaco
No.
in
No.
Hollywood? Oh,
No.
man. You got to go.
Is it
They-
great?
their shtick is like they don't have a menu. The waiter comes out and reads the menu to you. Like what? And then they don't write down your order. Like you just give them your order.
Nice.
Mm.
Yeah, but it's like really good. It's authentic to more like Mexico City, like that area.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not like what you're used to by the border.
It's not Tex-Mex.
Right. Nothing like that.
Okay.
But it's really good. I just wondered because, especially in that area,
Yeah.
I know you
I-
have some ghosts in that area. So
I do tacos tu madre a lot because I really, really like that. And then there's also Lenore's, which is vegan Mexican food. Because I have a lot of vegan friends, so that'll be kind of my like way to appease. But it's actually really, really delicious.
Vegan Mexican food.
So-
You mean pretend Mexican food?
They do a really good job, though. They do a really good job.
That-
The tacos
that-
tu madre.
That's a tough question.
Yeah.
It is hard.
I
work.
Because I like all tacos, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put some meat in there. They all taste good. I have to
very
pick
true.
one Al Pastor, probably.
I loved Al Pastor for the longest time. I think I like carnitas more, and birria, and even the real like birria, which is goat. Although a lot of places they
I don't do
make
goat,
it,
man.
they make
Yeah, I
it.
was
They
gonna
actually
say.
make it beef in most places
Yep.
around here, but it's traditionally goat. But
When you can get
yeah.
the goat, though. Oh, it's so good.
Depends on the day of the week. Is my answer.
You guys asked, we answered.
So there you go, Luis. Or is it Louis? Alex Mata says, "Are you guys hyped for the Boys Varsity spinoff? That's the college show.
No. No, I'm not. I'm not. I don't know. Maybe it'll be good. I just, so far, I haven't really learned anything else about it except for like, it's the boys in college. But not these characters, just other supers and stuff. And,
Yeah, I mean, look, if it wins me over, I'll watch it.
yeah, for sure.
But I just don't see the thing is, the Boys does such a great job of plumbing the depths of that material, literally and figuratively, that I can't see them going to school. I mean, what is it, less than zero, the superhero years? I mean, but if it's good, I'll watch it.
Yeah. Same.
I'm not hyped for it.
No, I've got no real excitement towards it, but I'll check it out.
Yeah, it's good. Al Renshaw says, definitely have to toast a Pop-Tart.
What?
Yes.
Have you never done it?
Oh,
Everybody should post a toast to Pop-Tart and get back to us. I think we should have Instagram feeds, whatever hashtag. I would love to see a whole Instagram feed or a hashtag Twitter, something of people just toasting Pop-Tarts and eating them.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't the whole idea? Well, I guess we'll find out in the movie. Partly, maybe the word "pop" in it. Isn't it supposed to be like it pops up in the toaster?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pop-Tart.
Yeah, I
you
think
toast
so.
them. Okay, moving on.
So following directions.
I just want to see people
No,
eating
it's pop it
Pop-Tarts.
in your mouth, not pop.
It's not called raw tart. It's a Pop-Tart.
No raw tarts.
Yeah. Irene Jobson says, "Don't watch Dear Evan Hansen if you're on a fence."
If you're on a fence?
If you're on a fence.
If you're on the fence of seeing musicals? I mean, the movie version is quite a bit of a letdown because that actor is incredible. He originated the role and everything. He's wonderful, but a little too old for the screen, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes we can get away with a CW age situation, right, of having somebody in their 30s play younger. This was not the case. And also, given the story of Dear Evan Hansen, it's so much worse to be like, that's a grown adult man behaving in this way. Because it's the actions of a very confused, scared, low self-esteem teenager. So when you see a grown man do a lot of these things, you go, wow, that's a ridiculous choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sam Fisher says, so Tim Sale passed away. We discussed that already. Very sorry to hear about that. Shout out to his family and friends. Jedediah Elias says, you hear about Ezra's memes he posted on Instagram egging on the police. One thing he posted was the Hello Mr. Police meme from The Snowman. Laugh out loud. Yeah, I have to say that I was in a way maybe sympathetic. Something was going on in his life and hoping he gets the help he needs. But when you do that, I think, not a good look.
Yeah, I agree.
Not a good look.
It doesn't do anything good for your case.
No.
In real court or the court of public opinion.
Yes. Tim Platt says Pop-Tarts or toaster strudel.
I'm toaster strudel.
I was a toaster strudel kid.
Really?
That
And
one
you
I
have to
liked
toast
more.
those because they come
Yeah, you
frozen.
do.
Yeah,
Are you like Twizzler people too, as opposed to Red Vines?
I hate both.
I don't see the equivalent, and actually, I'm a little upset because yes, I am. So now I feel like you attacked me.
Yeah, I am. But I am. No. Make no mistake, Jonathan. I'm attacking you. Twizzlers suck.
No way.
They're
No, but
hard.
toaster
They're
strudels-
shorter.
Toaster strudels are so much better than Pop-Tarts.
Both
Just
of-
not as convenient. The frosting.
So there you go, Tim. Matt Fitch says 2 weeks until Stranger Things. Rob, did you finish yet? That's what she said. Look,
What? Why doesn't she know?
yeah, she would know. Yes, I finished. I haven't finished the whole show yet. No one has. Duffer Brothers have said this massive 2.5 hour finale is packed with emotion and action. I can't wait. Also, let's go Avalanche. We'll see what happens with the Avalanche. I really think Stranger Things is really strong this year.
Oh yeah, this was one of their best seasons.
Yeah,
This is
I
up
think
there with the first.
I mean, I love the first because it was so new and unique.
Yeah.
But this is to me my favorite.
Oh, absolutely.
Scene.
I'm right there with you. I think it's been appropriately creepy. I've liked the mystery of it all. I think the characters are really jiving together. I love it.
I agree.
Mister.
Matt Fitch. Oh, here. That's not just. He already said that. Mr. 47 says Black Phone is incredible. I was glued to the screen. Events. Hawk is chilling in this role. Yes. I loved the main kid and his sister. Yeah, no, it was great. I loved it. It was really good. Ray, pontificate for a moment. How much do you love Black Phone?
It's my second favorite movie of the year. That's how much I love it. I mean, it was unexpected.
I love it so much. It's number 2.
No. Because I didn't think a movie like that would ever even hit my top 5. It's not usually my sort of thing, but the whole thing was really good. Like the premise, I can't say any more without really going to a deep review. But yeah, everyone should at least see it. That can handle sort of the intense thriller sort of movies,
So not
horror
me.
slash,
Yeah,
see
baby.
I'll sit this one out.
You saw it
Nice.
too, right, Rob?
Yeah.
Oh
Y'all
yeah,
saw it
We were
together.
there. We were all
I
together.
forgot. You were
Yeah.
hiding. I forgot. I didn't see it because you were hiding.
Yeah, remember when we were all at CinemaCon?
Oh.
Sorry.
Deficit Music sends in a super chat and says, maybe Hayden and Ewan will get redemption one day. Maybe.
Maybe they will.
But the thing is, yeah, I know, we will. Walter White Walker says, I thought we were going to have a black wedding on For All Mankind last week. Great episode. Well, we almost did. That was an incredible episode.
I have to watch the show.
What a nail biter. You got to watch the show.
Mm-hmm.
That third season opener for All Mankind was a banger. And like I said about it, the villain in that piece was the actual physics of the universe itself.
Ooh.
You cannot escape the physics of gravity. Oh my God. Talk about putting a frog in a boiling pot.
That makes me very excited to watch
So
this.
good.
Oof. All right.
So
Are we
good.
allowed to talk about it now? If it's meant
Why
to?
not? It's like, do
Okay.
people watch the show?
Okay.
Talk about it, Ray. What do you think?
No, I'm just saying, man. That. Oh
yeah.
I thought that guy was dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought that guy was dead.
That last shot.
Yes.
Well, I was like, yes. I mean, because that's Gordo and that's the child.
Yeah. Wait, one last thing. Did you know they were going to time jump that far? Did you read
10
anything
years
before the season started?
Well, yeah, because each year's time jump 10 years.
I totally missed from 1 to season 2 because they're
Yeah, dude,
like
it's
20
10
years
years.
Oh, right. You're right. Sorry.
It's a 10-year time jump. It starts in the 70s. Season 1's the 70s. Season 2's the 80s. Season 3 is the mid-90s.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
something
Mid-90s,
simple
like the
just
movie.
went past my head.
Yeah.
Awesome. What else do we have, guys?
Well, Avi P says, messed up last night's post. Thoughts on Disney Plus adding a filter like VidAngel. I was able to wait. That's a duplicate.
We talked about this
We
already.
talked about
Yeah,
that. We already saw that.
we don't need that because the internet exists.
Jedediah Elias says, just heard Tim Sale, the artist of Batman The Long Halloween, passed away today. Never got the chance to read his work, but grateful for his inspiration on the Batman, i.e. Matt Reeves. Rest in peace.
Jedediah, great time to go pick up a lot of Tim Sale work.
Yeah, and that was a very, very nice tribute. Thanks for saying that.
Yeah.
Very nice. Jedediah Elias also says, I just bought the Lego Star Wars Deluxe Edition on eBay for $140.
Nice.
So excited to play it. Oh, and the DLC games, though. I didn't know that was out. Lego Star Wars Deluxe Edition on eBay.
Very fun.
Love that game.
Yeah.
They're great. Congratulations on getting those. Topher Rock says, I wish Obi-Wan would have used flashbacks every episode, similar to the first few seasons of Arrow. I agree.
That would have been great.
It would have been a great. I think the whole thing should have juxtaposed Obi-Wan and Anakin, maybe even shown flashbacks from either one of their points of view.
That would have been cool.
But no one asked me. Mr. 47 says, poor Bruno. No one talks about him. They tell him silencio, and now he's being friend zoned.
Oh, he is being friend zoned on Ms. Marvel. But, you're not entitled to date your friends also. I just want to throw that out there.
It's true. You might be attracted to him, but
Yeah.
you're not entitled to date them. Just hook up with them. Andreas Salazar says, what would Star Wars have been like if Disney bought it after they bought Fox? This is assuming Lucasfilms would have stayed with 20th Century Fox. I think it would have been pretty similar. I mean, because look, remember, Lucasfilm has a long-standing relationship with Disney all the way back to Star Tours and the Indiana Jones ride. You go all the way back to Disneyland. They've been in business with Lucasfilm for 30 years plus. So this is not something unusual. I mean, Star Tours, I don't know when the date it went live, but it had to have been in
It was like
early,
87. I remember when they were building it.
Yeah. So Danito says, I've watched a lot of TV, but Avatar is still my favorite show of all time. Would want an Avatar Wan movie or exploring an Avatar in the modern world.
Yeah. Well, one of the cool things about Legend of Korra was we saw the Avatar world set with more of a steampunk sensibility because the Fire Nation was sharing their skills with the rest of the world.
Yeah.
So it makes sense for us to continue to see how the technology advances there too. So that'd be rad.
It would be rad. Well, if Chris Carr likes it, I'm on board.
Yay.
Yeah, I actually nailed the Star Tours. It was 1987.
There you
Ooh,
go.
well done.
There you go.
This is a good year.
Jordan Ellis says, Ray, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge is amazing. I have a PS5 and the disc copies don't come out until August 31st, but that includes a Pizza Hut pizza.
Yeah.
Laugh out loud.
Ooh, nice.
I saw this limited edition. There's a really expensive one that comes with the soundtrack. A lot of people are talking about the soundtrack to this game being really good for a video game. So they made new music. There's like a new rock song with a Ninja Turtle theme with it.
Wow.
So I'm looking forward to hopefully being able to buy that soundtrack by itself, because for right now you can only get it with the limited edition $200 set, which I don't know about that.
Well, after you've bought the special edition of Lego Jedi or Lego Star Wars,
Lego Star Wars,
you don't have any money.
I also want to point out, Rob, that the set actually has a slip cover that looks like a VHS.
Oh, I love when they do
so
that.
the Blu-ray case fits in that. That's the first time I've ever heard
That's
of that.
cool.
So
Very,
you've
very
heard
cool.
of that before?
Yeah, I've got a Night of the Living Dead like that, and I have
Oh,
an
that's really
Eden
cool.
Lake Blu-ray cover that looks like a VHS tape.
Nice. All
I
right.
know, right? Dalton Frizzell says, Kenobi thought Reva was stabbed in the gut as a youngling. How did she survive? Which other Force user we've seen has healing powers and was at the temple? Grogu. Thoughts?
Ooh, but that wouldn't, I don't know. Maybe that would have changed how she's feeling about killing off all these other Jedi or Force sensitive people if another youngling saved her. I don't know. Maybe. Anything's
be.
Two
possible.
stomachs.
Could be.
She has two stomachs.
Yeah, she's got two stomachs. Jordan Ellis says Obi-Wan Episode 6 is rumored to be 1 hour and 30 minutes or so. Glad to see that they will give a finale more time to be fleshed out. And Andrew Stanton's written it, so I have high
I've
hopes.
got hopes.
I
Yeah.
have high hopes. I think it'd be good. Fredo Valco says, Ray, you're looking forward to UFC Austin. It's going to be sick. Going to get drunk and inhale some dank nugs.
Some chicken nuggets?
Fredo, you're talking everyone's language.
Oh my gosh.
Whenever somebody says dank nugs, that's my favorite term for anything. I mean, in terms of,
Yeah,
I'm not a
love when I
big
hear
pot
that too.
guy, but man, dank nugs, I love how that
when
rolls
you
off the
say
tongue.
it actually, and it's coming out of your mouth, because there's some disconnect, but it works too.
Those dank nugs, the
Dank
dankest of the dank nugs.
Enjoy the UFC.
Smell the dankness.
Enjoy the UFC. I don't know who's fighting, so I can't speak on it, but enjoy, be safe, have some fun,
And roll a
Yeah.
fatty.
Yep.
Don't step on any movie sets, and
Yeah,
you'll be fine.
don't go to
Everyone
work.
will be safe.
Hoopsuni says,
Hoopsuni.
what are some movies that aren't necessarily your favorite, but you rewatch the most? I find myself rewatching Horrible Bosses movies all the time.
Oh. I guess my guilty pleasure movie that I rewatch a lot when I'm sad is Decoy Bride. Because
Okay.
it's just like a charming little rom-com with David Tennant being charming as hell.
There's a movie that I love that it's not great, but it has a great pedigree, and I love it. From 1988, Michelle Pfeiffer, Mel Gibson, and Kurt Russell, Tequila Sunrise.
Ooh.
And Ann Magnuson in the role of Mel Gibson's ex-wife. I love Tequila Sunrise.
Terminal, obviously.
Yeah.
And Employee of the Month and Megamind are three of the ones, like, if it's on TV, I'll watch it all the way through.
Nice.
Like,
Wow.
no matter where I catch it at.
What's
Very
yours,
good.
Jonathan?
I mean, well, I will say, like, in my opinion, they're amazing films. So the Monty Python films, so like Life of Brian,
Yep.
or The Holy Grail. But so many people don't really get or like their humor. So I guess from their perspective, I watch that a lot, and it's not that good. But I think they're masterpieces.
They are.
Damn, I think
Come
they're
on.
wonderful.
And that's why you always look on the bright side of life. Seconds from Disaster says, this show makes me laugh so much. What is it about John's absence that makes you all extra goofy? Aviation gin?
I was going to
I'm
say,
kidding.
we all are a little extra goofy. I don't know.
Well, I
It's a
think,
little more freewheeling.
yeah, I mean, I think John has a great format that he's pioneered, and he sticks to that format. I mean, we are freewheeling is a good term.
Yeah.
I think it's,
Well,
it's-
and if we're doing that, then we're just trying to copy John, and it's like, okay, well, you're just trying to be John, so we're giving the viewers just like a little bit different. Like, if you're gonna tune in, John, who everyone loves to see on the show, isn't here. Let's give you something a little different, and then when John's back, you got that too.
Yeah. You
I
guys
mean-
don't want to see me try to do a John Campea impression, I don't think.
I mean, what if I were to say, like, to you, Chris, what is our next topic?
I do love when we do those little moments.
I mean,
where
but that would be kind of
maybe-
weird.
Because
Maybe,
he addresses you.
just maybe.
We do that.
Yeah.
But that's
we,
fun.
We give those little winks and nods,
Yeah.
But I'm glad you think it's fun and that we're goofy. I think that we're goofy too.
We are all
We're
goofy
totes
people.
adorbs.
Totes and doors.
Dr. J says, Ray, what's your favorite snack from the Campea kitchen when you're watching Campea Plus?
Okay, I will say this. I bring my own snacks to the Campea house because when you go in their pantry, it's not a Ray aura type of pantry.
No.
It's the sad raw almonds, supplements. I bring the nasty to that pantry.
It's a very sad pantry.
And they seem to always be missing that one main ingredient. I'll look in there. I'll be like, oh, you got milk powder. Oh, you got flour. Oh, I'm going to make like some Filipino like polvoron, like these little rice powder candies. Oh, but they're missing butter that day. They're always missing that one important thing. Oh, they got the meat. Oh, bell peppers, whatever. Let's do some stir fry. I'll go into their pantry. Oh, wait, you guys don't have soy sauce. How do you not have soy sauce? And it's just always missing one thing.
They're not cooks.
Yeah.
I mean, because you and I both have cooked for them.
Yeah.
You much more than me. But they really are HelloFresh people or dining out people, which always confuses me of the dining out where I'm like, y'all eat out so always.
I bring my
poor
own snacks. But if you ask me what my favorite snack is whatever I bring into their pantry and leave there for the next time I join.
Yeah.
Because they're not eating what I'm bringing. It's so unhealthy.
They're eating Hello Fresh.
I bring things that people won't eat that I know will be there next week when I come back.
Ray doesn't get down with the Hello Fresh, but they do.
Yeah.
Hoopsuni says, are there any shows you guys are watching right now that you haven't had a chance to talk about on the show?
Yes, because none of you would care. I'm watching the show The Owl House. I just watched the season finale, and it's fucking adorable. I love it so much. It's a really, really cute cartoon show on Disney. It's basically just like animated gay Harry Potter. I love it.
Wow.
I love it.
I watched Star Trek Strange New Worlds.
Yeah, glutton for punishment. I don't get it.
I can't talk about it on this show, though. And scene.
You look like you're going into that one zone, that weird
that
zone
angry,
again.
dark zone.
Danito, Chris, what is your favorite episode of Avatar? Mine is The Avatar and the Fire Lord with Roku and Sozin's story. I'm a sucker for Shakespearean lore.
Oh, Dino, that's a really, really good one. I think Tales of Ba Sing Se is a beautiful episode, even though they're little stories thrown together. It's so emotional for me. That one always gets me. I really like the Fire Island Players, too. I think that episode's hilarious, just about how your narrative can be changed and how propaganda can alter a storyline, too. I think that show hits that on so many points, talking about how things can be politicized. It's a great lesson for kids to watch, too, of like, this is how propaganda works, kids. I really like the episode, too, where Aang basically does Footloose and teaches that town of firebenders that they can dance. It's a good one.
Like that. Sam Fisher says, Chris, are you excited for the Yang Chen novel?
Heck yeah. Airbending Avatar, give me more of that. Love it.
There you go. Callie Royal 92 says, just some Jonathan love. Man behind the magic.
Oh,
There you go. There's your first one, baby.
My
There's a
friend,
feel.
thank you, Callie Royale. Royale with cheese. Thank you.
Oh, so curious. Loved that sick Paul Rudd burn on the show. Also, DDLJ is way better than Bazingar. Wait a minute. Oh, Shah Rukh Khan 90s movies are great. Okay, you're talking Bollywood. That's a good that was a good segue.
Yeah.
But I love Shah Rukh Khan. Come on, and let me tell you, I don't know the name of it. There is some bonkers like MCU thing that they're delivering from Bollywood that somebody sent me a link to. It's like the most expensive Indian movie, whatever
that
that
looks
was.
amazing.
It looks
Part
amazing.
One Shiva?
Yeah, something like that.
That looks really, really cool. But
Anything
this is a conversation, too, on Ms. Marvel, where it's two characters arguing about some Bollywood film.
Oh, they
It's
are.
really
Okay, there you go.
Why are you referring to it as like a MCU thing? What is?
Well, it looks like some superheroic. I mean, if
Okay.
Shiva's involved, Shiva's could be like Thanos.
They're
Okay.
all being these various weapons of light, basically, are being assembled, and part one is about this
nice.
character,
That
which is really
sounds-
cool. Yeah.
So that was what that was. That was a Miss Marvel. That was. I have not watched episode 2
You
yet.
gotta.
so.
It's great.
Can you
In my
imagine if
Did they bring up Shah Rukh Khan and they did?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Can you imagine if the end of this, the big reveal is that this one's about Hindu gods
Oh, like Moon Knight?
and like other gods, and like it's like, oh no, stop with the Egyptian gods, the gods of Egypt and all this. This Marvel is just going into the ancient gods
Yep.
now.
Yeah, going to like I love Shiva. Like
And
why
that's
not?
how we get our crossover. All of a sudden,
Yeah.
Khonshu shows up and is like, listen, Kamala.
Deadpool's Unicorn says Rhinestone with Stallone and Dolly Parton is one of my guilty pleasure movies. if you'd said anything but guilty pleasure, I would have turned this show off right now. So I'm glad you said that. If you haven't seen him sing country, then you've missed out. Oh, I've seen it. I've seen Rhinestone, and kudos for him for even making that movie.
Man.
Good call, Deadpool's Unicorn. Deficit, which, by the way, I have a 6-scale figure of because Deadpool's
Of
Unicorn
course you do.
came in the Deadpool figure. Sorry. Deficit Music says, where is Joel Edgerton in
Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan? Chow was praising him.
In this
Well,
next
he was in the
episode.
first episode.
Yeah, and in this finale, because we're going back to
Yeah,
Tatooine.
we're going back to Tatooine.
Yeah. We'll see him.
Going back to Tattoo. Going back to
Tatooine.
I don't think so.
That guy is so good, man.
He's a great actor.
He's so good.
I'm excited to see more of him.
Going back to Tattoo. Nathan Hendrickson says, Rob, not even exaggerating. UPS guy just had to make 2 trips with 6-scale figures to my garage. Well, Nathan,
Nice.
remember to tip him at Christmas. It's always good when that happens. But why do people always write in and go, I got my 6-scale figures? Because then I go, what did you get?
Yes,
Yeah.
I know.
And now I'm not going to know, man. I
yeah.
want to know. I want to judge you by which figures you bought. I want to know if I believe in your choices or not.
And a suggestion for people who send in the super chats, if you can fit it, when you ask like one of those, what's your favorite that you don't, think everyone else likes or whatever, give us your pick too. Just because it'll help us, and talk about, if we don't have our answers ready, we can at least talk about your choice of what you're asking about.
I just love that this show's approaching 3 hours. So
why we're
let's
gonna keep
continue on.
running around.
Andy says, hi, Chris. Remember the good old days when Archie got his high school football teammates to form a homoerotic vigilante group to counter the Black Hood?
I sure do, Andy. Remember when that show made any semblance of sense, and now it is what it is? Riverdale, you're weird. You're a weird show.
Future Millionaire sends in a super chat and says, guys are awesome. A girl, too.
Aw, thanks. I can
We
be
are.
ultimate, guys. I'm okay with that.
But thanks, Future Millionaire.
Yeah,
It's always
appreciate it.
It's always nice when I don't have to tell people that I'm awesome.
Yeah.
That they tell us.
Future millionaire.
Jordan Merrick, 40, sends in a super chat and says, highly recommended checking out Peaky Blinders. Peaky Blinders is
So
great.
good.
And now it's done.
Yeah, final
It's
season's
done.
just dropped, they
Peaky
said.
Blinders, the final season dropped last weekend, and it was amazing. My favorite character of all time on TV is Tom Hardy as Alfie.
Tom Hardy's great on that show.
Alfie, what's it all about? That is a great show. I have not watched final season yet, but I love Peaky Blinders.
That was a really good Alfie reference.
And you like that?
Yeah, I like
Only
that a
you
lot.
got that.
Yeah, that was wonderful.
There you go. We got 2 more. I believe this is the end, right, Jonathan?
Yeah.
Take us home. Philly G sent in a super chat. Thank you, Philly G. And for the last word of the day, Fang Blaze 71 sent us a super chat.
Bang Blaze 71, who probably knows about Dank Nugs.
Dank Nugs
Yeah.
indeed. That's why
All
he's Fang Blaze.
Well,
Bang Blaze.
that's going to do it for us today on this installment of the Weird Wacky version, the Bizarro version, if you will, of the John Campea Show. So thanks so much for being here, guys, because we couldn't do the show without you and all the amazing things you write in as you're supporting this show. I want to thank all the people in the room here. Robert Byer Burnett. Rob, where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at RM Burnett. I drop gold there all day long.
Yes, you do.
And you can find me on Twitter at BurnettRM or find me on my own YouTube channel, Post Geek Singularity or postgeeksingularity.com and send me a letter.
Ray, where you at?
Fredo! I only say that because he just sent us a sticker. But you can
Aw.
find me at Ray Aura with a 0. Let's get on that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles tomorrow.
Yes.
At me.
And then, last but certainly not least, producer Jonathan, where can the people find you?
Twitter, my friends, Twitter.
Wonderful. You can also find me over on Twitter or on Instagram at Actor Chris Carr. Thanks so much for being here today. And until next time, y'all, bye.